Hello and welcome to Trucking Answers Live. It's Monday, and we are here live, and what a Monday it is. It's really been something out there, don't you agree? Holy mackerel, it's been a mess for Falcon drivers. Crazy, going on crazy out there. I don't understand it. What is happening out there, everyone? It is live on Monday as always. There'll probably be some companies in here, they wrote to me, so they'll be offering jobs to the drivers for Falcon, which is awesome. Today we had Michael Muller's first today. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And Kim's second, of course, out there coming in. And who else? Let's see, roll this back here if I can get this. Wild Bill is out there. Rich for Falcon, right? Mad Maldy, what's going on? K Dubbin, what's happening? Trucker Hershey made it today. That is awesome. Yeah, Falcon is done out there. They're finished. They're over. Unbelievable, really. Unbelievable. If anyone, yeah, they need a burrito. Some of those Falcon drivers do need a burrito. That is the Falcon from Youngstown. Closed 8 p.m. Saturday. Closed. Unbelievable. Some of the drivers were stranded all around the country. We're going to talk about what you should do, what you shouldn't do. I got a bunch of hate mail about my video. That's okay. We'll talk about it. You should see this coming if you didn't get paid for weeks. Yeah, some of the drivers haven't been paid in 2 months, and some of them haven't been paid at least in the last 2 or 3 weeks. That's enough for me. Like I said, first week, if you have a good history of paying me, I'll go to the second week so that you can, make it up. You don't pay that second week, we're done until I get paid, and you need to pay me right away in cash. So that's how that works. James Faust, what's going on today? Yeah, some of those drivers do need the St. Christopher Trucker Relief Fund. That's a good point right there. They could head out to that. Michael sort of agrees here, right? They go without week without, and then the next week, and that's it. They need to pay ComCheck, right? I need that money right away or we're finished. Dave, I'm feeling a little better. Still kind of sick, but we're going on with the live show today. Certainly, I appreciate that. Thank you. I was really sick last week. A total mess. Holy mackerel. You're not a non-for-profit. Exactly. Neither is the company. They don't do stuff free, and we shouldn't either. What happened in Colorado? They had a little snow out there, Michigan, Colorado area. Yep. 23 years old. Should only be a local driver. Well, at least you're closer to your house anyway. There's always Enterprise. People are saying, what are they supposed to do? Go to Enterprise. They'll pick you up. The truck hit a school bus. Oh, another barrel. Yeah, right. That was a mess. I saw about that accident. Holy mackerel. The White Knight is here. Thank you for being here today. Wild Bill, yes, welcome to everybody. I finally showed up here. The dude can spend time in jail. Maybe he might for that one. That's true. Okay, Wayne, I showed still 1 o'clock here, so we're going to call it close. Texas driver, you contend with the best of the mountains. He was just inexperienced. Yeah, he was inexperienced, but then look what happens, That's why people need to know what they're doing. Holy mackerel. Hey, what's going on, Luke O. from Syracuse on your way to Richmond, Virginia? What's happening? Do I think about Chrome Trucking? I don't know. Mr. P has some kind of, they have some kind of training thing. I did see that. Daniel, thank you very much. I appreciate that today. Steel Horse, it's good to see you back. Giving Falcon drivers a 20, buy their CBs and get them home. Yeah, oh, holy mackerel. They're going to need their CB at their next job, right? Just give them a 20 and send them on their way, right? Back in Ohio, peddling stone. Oh, all right. Well, at least you're, in Ohio, you can go see all those Falcon trucks sitting there. Jason, what's going on? Feet. Hey, what's happening? Feet with numbers. Nice. Love it. Blue Beacon for Stan getting a wash. Yeah, you don't want to do that here. Heavy thunderstorms here today. You bacon what? Bacon. I love it. Watched Pam back into Wiley Sanders and took off. Oh, that's awesome. Will is live here with me. I appreciate it. Corey, what's going on today? Thank you for being here. Bakersfield, California, rainy. Yikes. What's going on out there? Well, we're getting the same kind of thing here, but it's only like 50 degrees here. Give the Falcon. I love it, right? Let them keep their CB and just give them $20. Hey, Trucker Dave, what's happening in Hartford, Connecticut? Man, what's the fuel cost out there today anyway? Chris, howdy. Joshua, the tankers out there, what's going on? Aaron is there. Yes, Aaron, what's happening? Jeffrey says get him home. We need to get these drivers home. If you see one, do something about getting them home, even $1, whatever. Give them a ride, whatever you can do. I went to the truck stops here in my area yesterday. I didn't see any Falcon trucks anywhere, including the Meyer parking lot as well. There aren't any, so there's nobody at least close to me. Talk about the Colorado accident. That was a mess too. That big Colorado, that guy came down that hill, plowed into like 28 vehicles, if that's what we're talking about. Killed some people. That guy's in jail. That's a mess. Now, he was caught on dash cam going super fast before that, and he admits going 85 miles an hour in that truck. So I think that's a problem. If anybody didn't see that, I don't have that linked up, but that's easy to find about that big accident. That was a mess out there, though. Guy probably couldn't. No, he could speak English. They had him. No, that wasn't any problem. Decided the runaway ramp wasn't what he needed. You should always take that ramp if you need to take it. Falcon Transport, thank you for the videos. Help you apply it at Maverick. Good. Let me know how they do out there. What do you think about that place? And I appreciate you watching. Did I see the court hearing on the accident? No, he had to have a transfer. I didn't see that part of it. No, they didn't. The news part that I read didn't make any mention of that. The police, when they talked to the police initially, they didn't say anything about that. So you'd think they would have mentioned that. But just that should be CDL revocation. These places just pass you. These third-party schools pass you. Unbelievable. Pale riders riding the bench in Indiana, enjoying the broadcast undisturbed. That's good. Why are we off for a week? Sunny and warm in Florida. That's the way to do it, certainly. Hey, GT40, what's going on out there? Sounds like the result of corporate greed and mismanagement. Yes, Falcon had it. Yeah, they're showing like 800 trucks, and they just laid everybody off on a Saturday night, too. That was very nice. There's a driver in Cuban, Texas, can't speak English. These companies that use third-party testing, they don't care. They get their money, and they just give you CDL. Said he closed his eyes a minute. Yeah, I did read that. That guy in that accident closed his eyes before the accident. Out in Colorado, he goes, oh, I just closed my eyes. Oh, well, great. That's wonderful. Miggy is Miami and bound for home time. Oh, right, and loves the channel. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much for being here. If they discover the guy his brakes failed, do you think charges will stick? Maybe, because he should have taken a ramp or, check that before he left. Because what are the chances that, they all fail? I guess it's possible. So if it's some kind of malfunction, he should still try to do something. They may reduce the charges. He's still going to get something. And by the way, if he can't speak English, that's enough for me because it's required on the CDL. So don't send me the racist hate mail or whatever. It's part of his CDL. It's required by law. So he should have followed the same law as everybody else. How can you look at your bills and see if they're hazmat if you don't know the language? The Colorado driver had a translator standing next to him. What was the channel? What was the language anyway? Because, looking at him, I wasn't really sure what language he might speak. Chance, what's going on? What do I recommend for a new student in North Carolina? Well, always Maverick goes to North Carolina as well, And GNP is down there too, and they have a lot of local stuff in the Carolinas, so that wouldn't be a bad place to go either. The immigrant-loving media is going to ignore it. Well, that is part of it, certainly, but, if they had him in court, was the translator being used? Windy in Kansas today, yikes. Hey, Jesse, what's happening? Jason, it's hey from Bakersfield, California to San Leandro. That's all right. At least it's nice. Brakes failing, so why didn't you PTI? That's exactly correct. That's the first thing you'll hear. It's the first thing you'll hear from a translator, apparently. Do I think Falcon management will go to jail like Arrow? No, because that guy from Arrow, the owner, Pinkle Stinker or whatever his name was, Pickle Stick. It's something about a pickle. He went to jail, which he's still in jail, if I'm right, for embezzling money from the company, right? And because, some people were kind of mean. Oh, let me see that there. Aaron, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Super great. Thank you very much. That guy from Arrow, his problem, he was embezzling, and some people were getting on the Falcon driver saying, if you did a better review, like a business review of the company, you might know this or whatever. No way. If you went through Arrow's books, all the books looked good. So even if you'd have had those books to go through, even though it's private, right, you wouldn't have known anything because he was embezzling and doing all this under the table. So that's not really fair to put that kind of thing on the drivers. Now, if you're not being paid, that's one thing to say, all right, I'm not being paid, I'm not working here. But to say, oh, you should look at the books, and so that's the thing, no, that's not fair. If they're cooking the books or whatever, you would have no way to know that. Health reasons, foot surgery. Oh, okay. Well, it gets you a little bit of time off at least. Gustavo, hey, what's going on? When you went to trucking school, you're the only one who spoke English out of 60. Most of them are Eastern Europeans. Yeah, kind of. You must have gone in Chicago, right? That's where they all are. I don't understand it. If you can't speak the language, how do you read the bills? If somebody hands you bills, you don't know if it's poison in there, hazmat, what you have. You don't know what it is. You know, you need to know that. It's important. Somebody runs into you, truck starts on fire, cop goes, what's in your truck? And you stand there go, you know, that's not a good solution. How's the cell phone holder holding up? Hey, that CFI cell phone holder was the greatest thing I ever got from any company, I'll tell you that. And that thing is very sturdy. Hopefully the company is as sturdy as that place. The third-party testers are everywhere they scam you. Yes, in Florida, it's a mess, right? He passed an emergency ramp and swerved away from it. People don't like to use them. I don't know. You know, I assume in your head you're thinking, oh, I don't know if I should ever use this. I've never had the opportunity to, but I would use it before I go kill a bunch of people. Holy moly. Another reason for them to put speed limiters in the trucks, that the companies will be out, or, you know, all these mad and sad, all these people will be out talking about that. Oh, if we limited the speed, this wouldn't happen. You know, he may not know what the truck runner ramp is for. That's a good point, right? H.O. Wolding of Wisconsin got bought by Bison. Yes, by Bison Transport from Canada. That is true. Oh, they said he was Cuban. All right, so here legally. He's English but not fluent. He needs to speak enough English. If he can't be in court without a translator, I don't think that's enough English. The bills are complicated. Some of them are complicated to read. How's he going to read that if he can't even be fluent in the language? Okay, so Sweetland Transport out of Oxford is open to hire Falcon drivers. You know, a lot of companies have stepped up and said, look, we're going to give extra bonuses. We're going to get people in here as soon as possible. They're going to expedite their applications, and that's been really good. Kim says you worked at G&P and they won't get your CDL. Right, I don't think they have a school. But they'll train you after you get your license and say that their training program is actually very thorough. Oh, and you went through it. Oh, good. Well, that's good. Now, somebody went through it. That's good. So if you can maybe get the state to pay for your CDL, I don't know if North Carolina does it. Call the Department of Unemployment and see if they will pay for it for you. Some states do it. They said he's in the U.S. on a green card from Cuba. Yeah, that's legal. So he's legal on a green card. That's good. I'm not suggesting he's not here legally. I'm suggesting to get a CDL, he needs to speak English. Wild Bell, 44 and rain in Chicago. You had some snow over the weekend, or at least it showed on the radar. Celadon is next. People ask me who's next, and I said Celadon, right. And they're selling off their assets. They can't sell stuff fast enough. They're having like a flea market sale up there. The owner of Arrow was denied early parole twice. Good. That's probably the safest place for him in there. I felt really bad when they towed his Bentley away, only because I liked the car. Hey, Red Monkey. Yeah, hope having a good day. Yes, doing super great over here. Feeling a little better from last week, that's for sure. Brakes failed going down a mountain because you ride them, not because of a bad PTI. Could be both, maybe, but he should have looked at them first. But I agree. If they don't fail, if you know how to come down the mountain. Exactly. Falcon was bought up by a private investor months ago. That's true. End of last year. According to the news, I think it was December 17. Not sure. But that's true. They were just bought out not that long ago by a private investor. And I guess that investor said, we've had about enough of this. You read that Falcon got bought up by a stockbroker firm. Oh, is that who it's doing it? How do you read the road signs? Yeah, how do you know which street to turn on if you can't speak English? It's crazy. Seeking Alpha. Oh, thank you. Thanks for the info. I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that. We don't. Where'd I disappear to? I'm not great on this. I'm always disappearing. Okay, we don't need speed limiters. We need professional drivers. Exactly. Speed limiters cause backups. Yes, everybody should roll the same speed. Sweetland Transport, there's a number for Falcon drivers. If he speaks broken English, the courts will provide him a translator, so there's no excuse so he doesn't understand. Well, can he speak English or not? Let's decide that. I didn't see the thing, Can he speak English? Headed to Oklahoma City to do a swap. And then, headed to Washington State. 1,900 miles. Now, that's a nice load, right? At this time of year, at least. You should have 5 years minimum Class C driving before getting an A. Well, that would put a real crimp on everybody, I think. There are not that many Class C jobs. Maybe Hogan. Everybody would have to work at Hogan. They're the only ones I see that advertise that kind of job. Wyoming will hold your CDL at the weigh station if you can't read your permit book and give them what they ask for. Good. They give a driver to a rider to. They give the ride to the hotel and call his company. Good. They should impound his truck. If you're going downhill, the limiter doesn't help. Yeah, that's exactly correct. Your sister works at a pig barn, and the Indian driver that show up with a note that says, "I can't speak English and I can't back up." Oh, come on. I can't back up? Well, what's he there for? Not only can I not communicate with you, I can't even drive the truck I drove in here. That's crazy. Come and get his truck. Yeah, holy mackerel. They get commercial pilot's licenses too. The universal language is English. Yeah, that's what I thought, right. And it takes a few thousand more words. Yeah, because no matter where they go, they have to speak English. So when they come here, they speak it and everything. That's even worse. That's even scarier. My wife flying in August. That's kind of scary. I won't tell her that. If not mistaken, they offer the test in Spanish. How do they do that? You have to speak English. Falcon depended on GM. Yes, too much when Lordstown closed. That was a huge part of their business. Yes. They somebody said that over the thing too. They had all their eggs in one basket. You can't just only do one thing like that. When Lordstown closed, that's a mess. But still, they can't be doing this with these drivers. There's a lot of drivers saying they can put a lien on the truck until they get their paychecks. No, right. A number of people wrote to me about that. Oh, you can put a lien. You cannot put a lien on the truck. You don't own the truck. You have no interest in the truck. You cannot put a lien on the truck. The bank probably has one. Somebody has a lien on it. You can't just lien the truck. Give the truck back to them. Was the driver loaded in Colorado? Didn't he use a Jake brake? I don't know why he didn't have his Jakes on or why he was going 85. He just doesn't know how to come down a hill. Falcon closed because of the loss of their biggest account. Arrow closed due to federal law violations and criminal acts. Yeah, it was a different story. Unfortunately, the same outcome for the drivers. Smith is trying to get Falcon drivers. Good. These companies have put a lot of information out about them, right, that they're going to help them out and stuff. That's good. Falcon drivers, still be careful where you go, of course. Don't just jump to one place. Some drivers didn't get paid for weeks. Some drivers didn't get paid for 2 months, they said. That's crazy. GM in Lordstown is their biggest customer when they close Falcon. Well, that's a problem. They'd have one customer like that. He speaks broken English, so he can read the road signs. That's not enough English. Any update? Yeah, that's what we've been talking about, this crash here recently. Heading to Effingham from Baltimore. Oh, at least you're getting off the coast. Yikes. Can't this be considered an act of terror? I don't know. He would have to, that would be a real stretch. They'd have to prove that he had a terroristic acts and stuff. I doubt it. I doubt it. He will be provided transfer because of the high profile. Yeah, I see what you people are saying that. Then there's no excuse later. I didn't understand or whatever. So I get it that he may speak some English, but they're giving the translator to make sure on the appeals later. Here's Anderson Trucking Service. I appreciate you being here today. They are ready to hire Falcon drivers as well. Give them a call. That sign-on bonus will help you get across the bridge to the new place, and maybe you get a check every week, unlike Falcon. And they've been on the channel, as you know, as a company doing it better, so I'm happy to have them here in the chat. Thanks for being here today. Joe Peen 3, right, not sure. But up the driver in Colorado was Cuban. I didn't bring it up. Someone said he was Cuban. In Miami, the truck drivers are all Cuban. Well, some are Cuban. Received their CDL from not good third-party testers and are pretty reckless. Hey, I don't think you have to be a Cuban from Miami to be a reckless tailgating driver, certainly. But, that's an inward thing, Would it be fair to do an informative video on a DAC report abuses? Well, some of that, it's hard to translate. I'll do a video about the DAC reports and how to get a copy of yours by going to hireright.com. Get a copy. It's really, really tough to get it changed. And they just put stuff on there, which you're right, that you can't get taken off of it. It doesn't make any sense to me. You just got denied a job because you didn't walk across a 4x4 properly. Never mind you have a clean driving employment. You didn't walk across a 4x4 properly. Who is that? Is that TMC? Tell me that's TMC. Number one mistake rookie drivers make is going down the hill too fast. Look, my policy on hills, the truck should be able to hold its own speed, whatever it is on the full Jake. If you have to keep hitting your brakes, you're going too fast down the hill. That's what I think. So whatever that speed is for your truck. I believe GM fired 3,000 workers. They were all offered employment at other GM plants, and a lot of them moved, and some of them didn't. You dropped the truck off at the chop shop. Yikes. That happened with Arrow. Yeah, there was the same kind of thing. Smith owns a separate company called I-65 Trucking. Really? Out of Remington? They're trying to hire as many Falcon drivers because they actually have a shortage. I didn't know that they even had that. They must not advertise that very much. My thoughts on that crash is it's terrible. I mean, you pass the ramp, take the ramp. And, I don't know how long this guy's been driving, but closing your eyes and running into a bunch of people, I don't think is the answer. He needs to go to jail. 3 straight days of rain. Yikes. If you're within reaching the receiver, you can call and negotiate cash to deliver the load. I wouldn't do that. Receivers want their goods. Aero drivers did this. They probably did. My recommendation was to take the equipment back to the nearest Falcon property. It's not your truck, trailer, or load. And Falcon put out a message that you no longer work here. Basically, you're not working here. But I'm not leaving it at a truck stop. I personally wouldn't. People said, what about the insurance? I'm driving it to the nearest Falcon property at least. I'd probably drive it back to my car, wherever that is, if it had fuel. But at least to Falcon, take a video of the truck, trailer, everything, paperwork, the whole thing. Keep that video for later on their property. And that's how I would handle it. I certainly wouldn't. I wouldn't try to negotiate cash to deliver the load. That could be considered extortion. You don't want that kind of problem later. And what if there's a shortage on the load or whatever? I wouldn't deal with that. Don't want to deal with it. Aero drivers probably did it, and drivers are doing it. Don't sell fuel out of the truck. Don't sell truck parts. You can't lock the truck up at your house. You can't do any of those things. It's not yours. How will other companies verify employment? You can verify it with your paychecks, okay? And so I understand Falcon may not answer calls. You should always have your paychecks or access to them. Like where I am, I get paid direct deposit, as I'm sure many of you electronically. I can go back 3 years right there on the internet and pull up 3 years of paychecks just like that. That's how you'll verify your employment at Falcon. What's the specifics? I don't have 100% of the specifics on that accident other than they came down the hill and smashed into a bunch of people, right? What's wrong with going down a hill fast if your equipment is good? I'm using the brakes going down a large hill. I'm going too fast. In Colorado, these mountains. That's how I do it. Jake's on, and it holds the truck at whatever speed that is. So if it's 30, 20, whatever it is, because then if you need the brakes, come down that hill and traffic is stopped, they're cool, and they're ready to go. Trucking jargon. Sorry you're late. No problem. I guess I came in about 30 seconds late, too. Falcon flew the coop. They're gone. And they're the fastest ones out of there, too. Which is sad. You requested a DAC weeks ago when you talked about it. Still waiting for your report. Yikes. I don't know how long it takes to get. I kind of thought you could get it electronically right away, but I guess I don't know how long it takes to get. You should also get your DMV report from your state as well since you're getting it. It's free in Indiana. Some states charge for it. Walk down a 4x4 at George Hildebrand Trucking. Is that like part of the physical? They give you a test on that? Joe's Barbecue House is here to give everybody free barbecue. That may not be true. Devil Dog, after 7 years of service? Oh, yes, that's correct. I didn't know that you were there or know someone there. Look, everybody talks about this too, loyalty. Look, there isn't any loyalty, I say, right? You work at a company, you're an employee, you're there for a paycheck, no problem. But, they'll fire you as quick as look at you. And so you're there for a check. It isn't loyalty or whatever, really. It's a job. I'm an employee, and, there's no loyalty to them. They don't have any to me. And that's how we get along good, The whole Smith Remington, Indiana terminal is actually the I-65 company terminal. They run a chrome shop. Yeah, I think they do have a chrome shop there. Now, you could sell all your Falcon chrome there. Do not do that, by the way. Spoke to my ex-terminal manager at Falcon via Facebook. At least you got a hold of somebody. He said that he's helped as many drivers as he could get home. The fuel cards were off. I did see that the fuel cards were off. And I just couldn't believe it. Again, this happens. I've said this on the channel many times. Always have access to at least a couple, $200-$300 on the road, even if it's just on a credit card or whatever, because you may have to get home from the other side of the country when something just like this happens. I-65 Chrome Shop used a part for Smith Transport. Is that why all their trucks look so good? Josh was late. That's all right today. I showed up a little late today. Happy to be here after last week being sick all week. Who's going to pick up the trucks, Mr. Falcon? Whoever owns the truck will have to come and get it. The Falcon drivers were left stranded. Yeah, they're garbage. It doesn't make any sense to me. You can't tell me they didn't know. And they did it on a Saturday night. That is crazy. Your heart goes out to the good people at Falcon, all the good drivers. And it's not all management. Like this driver had somebody that he was able to get in contact with. You know, just a few people that can close the whole place down. It doesn't make any sense. He could have pulled a spring brake. He should have done something before he ran all these people over. People in the office can put abandonment of equipment on your report if they don't like you. Then you got a problem. I agree. There's no way to get around it. They put that on your DAC. And then how do you solve that later? You almost can't solve it because you're saying, no, I didn't do that. How do you prove that? They should have to prove it. Prove it. Why do companies do this to the drivers? Because they don't care. Unfortunately, it's all money. They extracted the last bit of 2 cents out of that company that bought it, that bought Falcon, and then said, all right, that's it. We're done. And so, now some drivers didn't get paid. Some did. Some haven't been paid in a couple of weeks. So once they start not paying people, that is a real problem. You avoid I-70 and take I-80. It is scary. I agree. But you look, everybody needs to go across Eisenhower at least one time in their life. West Virginia, 6% in fog. Speed smokers at the bottom. Do not smoke those brakes, folks. Let the Jake hold that truck. Whatever it seems. Okay, so I'm only going 25. That Jake will hold the truck. Then, at the bottom, if you need your brakes, what if traffic is stopped? Your brakes should be super cool and ready to go. Smith Transport is an ESOP company. U.S. Express hasn't been involved for a while. Yeah, I didn't know U.S. had anything to do with them. You can verify employment with a W-2 if that's the way you have for a year. Yes. You could do a W-2 or your check stubs. Anything that proves you got paid from that company proves you were there. Look, companies understand right now that it may be tough for you to verify Falcon employment. So I don't know if some of them will work around that. Always have access to pay stubs. Always have access to money, a few $100 on the road. It will help you, in this it would help you because you can just have Enterprise pick you up and get your car and head you home. You saw a video on Facebook with non-English speakers, English-speaking people trying to real hard to put a Glad hat together. How many drivers can figure out if the hoses of everything, if they're not colored? I know. Look, they're not always colored. They are on my truck, but sometimes they're both black. So if the trailer doesn't move, that's the first thing you check. You're like, oh, the air's leaking out. There's a bleed valve back there. So if you have it reversed, it doesn't blow the brakes out. So if you go back there and hear all this air coming out, it's probably coming out of the bleed valve. Switch your hoses. And just mark them yourself. If you use the same truck every day, put a mark on one of them so you know. Wow, you got a brand new Pete 579 with 1,100 miles. What kind of powertrain do we have in that Pete? Was Falcon 48 states? I think they had authority for 48 states, but they didn't usually go it. You only saw them on the East Coast and Midwest. That's where you saw most of their trucks. A lot of the drivers are home every day from them, which is good. Joe Peen, got to go. Got some home time? Good. I'm going to have a honey-do list to get done before Warden gets home. Oh, well, I appreciate you being here. Thanks for coming in, and maybe we'll see you next Monday. Bone Crusher, management should be charged. Yes. Give advance notice. Look, they're required by law under the WARN Act to give 60 days notice because they have more than 50 employees. Those drivers are actually due 60 days of pay and insurance coverage for 60 days. Will they get it? Eventually, they'll probably get part of it. They'll settle for part of it. I think there should be a bond now after doing this over the weekend that is equal to 60 days of pay. I'm going to say $8,000 plus $500 for transportation. So if a company closes like this bond immediately pays out each driver as a comp check, $500. That gets you home. Your next regular payday, whenever that is, the other $8,000 pays out to you. And I think that would very much help in a situation like this. Then you would be able to and, get your life. So one guy wrote in that his wife had just gotten pregnant 3 weeks ago or whatever. You don't have insurance anymore. Now what are you going to do? Holy mackerel. The lease company will send records to the new trucks. Yes, people that lease purchase a truck. I love it. Remember, in your contract, it says that the lessor, the company, is the owner of that equipment. You don't own it. That is an asset of the company, of the lessor. So if they go bankrupt like this, that truck goes back to them. All the money you've put into it is gone. Anything you had in it is gone, so get everything out of it. And they come and get their truck because you are only renting it. That's a more of a shame than a company driver probably. You could have 4 payments left on that truck. Now, you may be able to negotiate with them if you're close to finishing it, but you'd have to pay it off to get the title to it. If you got $200 or $300 of spare cash sitting around, you could put fuel in the truck and get home. You could. It doesn't get great mileage, and it depends where you are, but you could drive the truck back too. That's correct. David is praying for the Falcon drivers. They're going to need it coming up here. Am I wrong to think that if you don't have enough money to take yourself back home, you're doing something wrong? Not everybody. Well, a lot of America doesn't have access to a few $100s. So that should be one of the first things you do when you get into trucking, really, is get yourself a few $100. Try the Dave Ramsey thing where you get $1,000, right, and get started that way. But you should always have access to a few $100s. But, some people have things come up or whatever, and then they spend their money and don't have it right then. 35 miles an hour to almost steep grades helps, saves your brakes. Yes. You came through Colorado. Yes, exactly. Hey, Miro from Canada, what's going on? Hello there. The crash was horrible in Colorado. It was a total disaster. How many will try to say they worked at Falcon to add fake experience? That's an interesting way to do it right now. If you need some experience, put down that you work at Falcon, although companies will probably want you to at least provide some kind of pay stub or taxes, something. Oh, that Pete has a Cummins and a 12-speed auto. Nice. Well, that's the way to go with it. That sounds really great, really. Your 2020 had 994 miles when you got it. Man, you guys are getting all these nice trucks. Holy moly. Have I had any problems with companies putting stuff on your DAC report that's maybe out of spite? I've heard of stuff like that. I've been at my place now almost 17 years, so I haven't had any DAC issues where I am. But yeah, people write about it all the time. Constantly, that the company, because there's really no oversight of the DAC. They can just put it on there and bingo, it's on there. How does that write? And you can't correct it. You write to DAC and go, oh no, I didn't abandon the truck. And they go, well, the company said you did, so too bad. That needs to be solved. Your trailer airlines are hanging down, touching the ground in this trailer. How to tie them up? Yeah, bungee. Bungee cord is your lifesaver. You should always have a few of them at the next truck stop. Stop in and get a couple bungees and bungee it up. And then when you drop that trailer, you can always take your bungees with you. You saw a UPS driver run a red light. Oh, yeah, on purpose. Sure, they have stuff to do. We are just in their way. Did you get that on dash cam? We'll put that out here. Get us trap strap and then tie them up. I use bungees for this kind of stuff. Because at 2 seconds, you're bungeed up, you're ready to go. You don't want them dragging along the ground. You're not allowed to, and they'll drag a hole in them. Back in the housing market crash of 2008, U.S. had bought into about half the shares, really. Oh, and then Smith bought them back. Well, at least they're out of that place. And now they're employee-owned. That's a real problem that a business can just settle and avoid real consequences. Yeah, it is. There's no real consequence to the WARN Act that doesn't have enough bite in it. Drivers should immediately get paid when a company closes, and that company should have a bond that covers that. They should be required to have that bond to stay in business. That would then pay these drivers what already got paid. $500 on the spot, $8,000 on their next check. Tax-free. Your truck that are driving right now is a 2015 Freightliner, not bad. It's got disc brakes. Wow. That's like one of the first years for that. So you can stop better than the drum brakes. I've seen that on the back of trailers. I don't know if they have them there at Smith. Warning, this truck has disc brakes all around. Stay back because it stops so fast. I've seen that on there. Your current company is not on the DAC network. Yeah, not everybody is. When you apply for a job and they don't ask you to allow them to do a DAC check, then that company cannot put information. Yeah, they're not part of it. Exactly. Those nearest the left at the driver's side is your supply and the other is service. Exactly. Hey, Timothy, I haven't seen you for a while. Welcome back. You're very sorry. Hope all your Falcon drivers listen to me well. I appreciate that. And thanks for being here. Hey, Roger Moore, what's happening? It's a nice day today. It's a nice day for a kill, right? I seen this fellow doesn't repossession work for Penske. Anyone see him? He's going to be out getting busy doing all this stuff. You work for Falcon. We have a Falcon driver. The Wolverine, stuck in Nashville, Illinois, working on a rental car to get home. Have been paid up to this point. Oh, really? Well, as you know, some of your fellow drivers have not been paid. 26 years on the road, and you are done. Let me know how that goes, right, Mark, at truckinganswersnation.com. Hey, Kenworth Rider, what's happening? Another Aero incident and many more to come. There'll be more companies like this. Troy, sorry you're late. Do I think the brakes went out? No, I think he didn't know what he's doing. Home in Charlotte today. Hey, you like the channel? I appreciate that. Thank you very much. No, I think he came down the hill too fast, and, he just doesn't know how to do it. And so his brakes went out because he was going too fast, certainly. Another Aero move with Falcon Trucking, exactly. The people were throwing out Aero, Jevic, all that. They really took a massive dump on their drivers. This kind of stuff is horrible. Always have some money with you and be ready to quit. There's no loyalty in these companies. They don't really care at any company. Even where I am all these years, I don't consider it a loyalty thing. It's just a job where I get a check. And at any time, I guess they could let me go just like anybody else. I guess you don't work for Falcon. I don't. I could cross them. Maybe I do, and I would still be here today, right? You could cross them off the list of who does Mark drive for exactly. I guess I don't work there anymore, even if I did, right? I did go out to look here because they have a terminal in Gary. So I thought there's somebody here I could pick up, but there was nobody here yesterday. So did I see the Zero Hedge article? Oh, no, I didn't read my Zero Hedge today. I'm on Amazon launching freight brokerage and cutting rates 20 to 30%. How can anyone else compete? Well, they can only cut it so far, right? But look, it's the market. This kind of thing is the market. So if the rate supports $1 or whatever it is and people will do it, I don't know what to say about it. I mean, we can't ask the government, right, to set the rate. So that wouldn't work. Popping the brakes or jackknife would do nothing to stop you. If your brakes are already smoking, popping them is not going to help. Hit truck Hershey, yeah, the Wolverine was here. If I don't asking, who do I drive for? Also, do I prefer an auto or a manual? I would like a 13-speed manual on the road, although I don't mind driving my automatic. Who do I drive for? I never say who I drive for. That keeps them out of my videos. And also, how many people are on YouTube? I'm sure you watch other people. All they do is recruit for their company. Oh, here's my number, whatever. I don't do that. I keep them out of my videos, and I don't recruit for them. But so then I don't mention them. It allows me to say basically whatever I want on here so they don't give me any grief. Auto or manual? I like the autos now, but I'll take a 13-speed any day. You just checked your mind and your company doesn't do anything on the DAC either. Good. So then you won't have any problems with the DAC on there. It'll just be nothing on there. If you could pop the brakes, you're not going to stop. Yeah, that is not a good solution. Your truck, your pad also has disc brakes all the way around. Right, nice. Especially for what you haul. I wish, right. Yeah, it's super fast stopping, right? What do I think about Venture Logistics? I see their ads too because I'm up in the area. And, they do a lot of automotive stuff too. So here we go back with the Falcon thing. And, but they also run general freight as well. So they seem to have an okay pay, and at least in some of their ads, they have a guarantee. So that's certainly worth it. The guarantee is worth it. Be a nice day for me to get a new load. Every day is a nice day to get a load. You can't avoid, I think I just disappeared, right? Okay, taxes on the proposed $8,000. No, I'm saying that where I would make it needs to be broken up in a way that would not be taxed. No, I'm saying that the federal government would have they'd have to propose this, that to have the federal interstate commerce license, right, to haul freight, you'll have a bond, and the drivers get an $8,000 payment if the company goes under, tax-free. They're allowed to do that kind of thing. That's how I'm doing this $8,000. Only if the company does not comply with the WARN Act, then the bond pays the driver $8,000 on their next paycheck so that Then then the company, the government goes back and gets it out of the company. The drivers are the ones that have to suffer for this, and it shouldn't be that way. You could pop the brakes and turn hard, swing this for sure. I would actually like to see it. Absolutely. And am I still online? I think I've just disappeared. Great Plains Transport. Nice. Where did I go? Okay, I didn't go anywhere. I may still be on here, so we're just going to go with it. Right. Anyone who comes in late, let's see, where did I go? Pop out. Moving things around. Let's see. All right, am I back? Also, and some trailers have them also. That's really nice. Anyone who comes in late is getting 1,200 demerits. That's awesome. That's pretty good. So let's see. I don't even know if I'm still on. I guess so. I guess I'm still talking. I'm not sure. I don't see anything here anyway. I don't see anything online. Am I still on? Okay, I'm still on. Okay, you'd go off a cliff before killing people? Good. All right, Jared, no, you're good. All right, there's no picture here. Don't care. Right, we're just going with it. Great Plains Transport. I don't know anything about Great Plains Transport. Thanks, Steel Horse. I appreciate that. I disappeared on the screen here. I see there's legislation to tax that bond. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they legislated that so that drivers would get that money tax-free, there's no reason that they couldn't get it tax-free, really. That's just how it would have to be set up that way, for the government could set it up so that you could get the money. Because drivers are the ones that are being hit by this. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why do the drivers have to pay for that kind of stuff? Popping brakes and turning ahead sharply. Yeah. Oh, you saw it on a cartoon. Hopefully not like a Tom and Jerry or whatever. Hey, Thomas, what's going on? You there? It was a quick stall. Yeah, who knows what's going on with the internet here. You've heard that Florida lanes are bad. You'll have a hard time getting out of Florida, apparently, which is weird. They don't have a port with freight going out. Florida is hard to get out of if you don't have a reefer, from what I understand. And the rates out of Florida are low because all this freight goes in there because all these people live there. But the people that live there are all 150 years old and they don't work. They don't, have manufacturing of anything. So it's really hard to get anything back out, Halver is terrible. They wanted to start you 33 cents 5 years ago with 10 years. Well, let's hope that they've increased that pay since then. Holy moly. They're competing with Pam. The government looking out for the working man. Well, look, we can all dream. It's a dream of mine. I have a dream that the government eventually will look out for us instead of a company like that. There's some on YouTube that don't know of any other. If they had a bond, then the drivers at least would get paid. The lease. What else did I have? Okay, so other people said, leave the truck at a truck stop. I'm not in for that either. These Falcon drivers, I don't think you should leave it at a truck stop. When that load gets stolen, somebody's gonna come in and want that truck and trailer back eventually. If they go bankrupt or whatever happens, they're gonna be calling you and going, "Where's our truck?" Oh, I left it at the TA. I don't know about that. I don't know if that's the greatest way to do it. If you can get it back to Falcon, that's been my suggestion. That's what I would do. That's what I think you should do. Somebody said insurance. The insurance is off. I don't know. Is the insurance off? Like if I pay my car insurance, it doesn't just end one day. It ends at the end of the payment. So there's no way to know if the insurance is on or whatever, but I'm taking it back to a Falcon property, at least a close property, and dropping it there, do a full video of the whole thing and keep that video. I think that's the best way to solve the problem. I wouldn't demand money from a company to deliver the freight. I think that can be a real problem. Drivers always taking in the shorts when a company closes? Yes. That is true, right. You live in Georgia and loads coming out of Florida are sketchy. Yeah, and the loads you do get are 80 cents a mile, really. Any thoughts on Mr. P out of Jeffersonville? Yeah, Mr. P has this huge training. They invested all this money into training new drivers and stuff. So, they're certainly worth calling out of Jeffersonville down there at Louisville, certainly. Because they just did a whole rethinking of the whole place. If Mark could find that Penske guy, at least provide spots to turn the tractors. Poor folks at trailers. Yeah. Okay, so Some of the trucks at Falcon were leased from Penske as well, from what I understand. And I guess some from Ryder, but people were talking about Penske mainly. Take it back to Penske and park it in the yard there. It's their truck. You cannot hold the truck. People said, oh, I'll tow it and I'll get a free truck out of it after 30 days. That does not happen, folks. Do not hold interstate freight hostage in your driveway. You do not want that kind of problem. It's terrible that what happened, but just we got to put it behind us and move on. Jared, been watching the old videos. I should do updates on companies. Yeah, I was thinking about doing an update, but then I thought people are going to say, oh, there's Mark just putting that same company out. So, yeah, if you think that would be good, I'd like to update some of the company videos. Yeah, maybe it'll be like a 2019 update or something, because a lot of them have changed their policies and pay is way up on some of them. Nebraska gets a lot of loads from drivers that don't want to drive in the mountains. Yes, you love the Rocky Mountains, but some loads are high elevation sensitive. Yeah, I would have to sometimes come from California and take the south route, and then 54 up, certainly. Silent Lines of Michigan, I work there. They have a guarantee at $1,400. Wow. When they won't pay me my last week's pay, if your first week and last week is a partial week, is that still $1,400? You'd have to ask them, how their guarantee actually works. Is it a daily pay? Do you have to work the whole week? They each do it differently. I would pick one up if my company would let you. Okay. Maybe I should redefine Chapter 11 for the folks as I watched. The first time it was right on. Yeah. They shouldn't be able to get out of paying wages. Wages is one of the first things that have to be paid, but it's still weeks and weeks before these drivers get paid. Sorry you're late. Truck has been at Peterbilt since Friday morning. Turbo's blowing oil in the actuator. Your new turbo should be in tomorrow. Yikes, William. Well, hopefully they put you in a motel at least. Those springs are beefy. Wheels would have caught fire, but he could have stopped. Oh, then the thing burns down and hopefully nobody gets hurt that way. Florida is icky, dead. For Georgia or Alabama as deep as Orlando. There's just no good freight out of there. So if you're, percentage, that's the other problem on a percentage. You're not going to get a great load out of Florida. The government looking out for the people. I'm living in a separate world, but this bond solves all these problems of these companies closing. Nothing is probably even going to happen to these people. They'll file bankruptcy. They'll settle the Warren Act for 3 weeks of pay or something, and that'll be the end of it. It's sad. All these drivers need to get to talk to an attorney about suing them for the Warren Act. A bond is a good idea. A system of bonds in the Warren Act and legislation is secure for the trucker. That's what I'm thinking. We've got the Warren Act. Companies post a bond. So then if they do the Warren Act, they give you 60 days notice, then the bond is released. They don't have to, it won't pay out because you're getting your 60 days as the law requires. But if they want to close, that bond pays the drivers immediately, and then the bond company goes after that company. Joshua, maybe some of the bad companies have made better changes. They have. Some of them have, yes. Dustin, $3 a mile going to Florida and $1 coming out for flatbed. So if you're on percentage, 27%, you only get 27 cents a mile out. But overall, round trip, may be worth it, right? Maybe. New name for that is Trump freight. You just don't get it. Oh, nice. It's the best freight ever. The highest pay, best freight. Love it. There's another company that I see pulling Buffalo trailers. That company could bought out Wolding. It's Britain, and have been very curious about them. The company that bought out Wolding is Bison, right? Didn't they buy them out? How would they document the drop-off? Pics or a video? Look, if you're dropping that freight, I don't know about that. I just don't know about even delivering the freight on your trailer if you're for Falcon. I don't know about that. I think I would give them the whole thing back and let them figure it out. Thomas has enough room to park on his property and your dad's a mechanic. You cannot put a mechanic's lien on there. Somebody from the company has to authorize it. You don't just get to put a lien on the truck. It doesn't work that way. You'd have to have an authorization from an authorized representative of the company to do work on the truck. I don't know how you would get that. According to Fox and Plus, you'd only have a lien for the amount of work that you did. The DOT number for Falcon is no longer in service, so they can't even move without getting a ticket. Well, this morning it was still operational on the Safer website, but I haven't looked since early this morning. Dry mountains are fun, snow covered, not much. Yes, the time to go across Eisenhower is into 2 weeks of the middle of July when it's not snowing. Falcon. Wonder if the close date had to do with not being able to make the next insurance. Maybe. It could have been due, but I don't know what day it's due. Like, car insurance for me is the 3rd, so I don't know. I don't know about that. There was some kind of payment coming up that they couldn't make. And I think really, since some people haven't been paid in a couple weeks, and also this last Friday, they were probably nervous that people were going to start suing them, and they said, all right, we're not going to be able to make them anymore. We'll just close on Saturday evening, and that's it. So no insurance on Sunday? Maybe. We don't know. The insurance may still be in effect. I don't know. You don't have to be driving trucks to have insurance on the trucks. They have you at a Best Western. Nice, collecting the points. My company even rented you a truck. Nice to go home. That's pretty good. See, now that's what a company should do. Give you a motel, get you around. It's their problem. Exactly. Not, we pay you $50 after you sit for 2 days or whatever, like stupid Pride. That's just crazy. Can you imagine if Falcon was the size of Werner or Prime? Who's to say that won't happen someday? Look, this place, Arrow was big. Look at CF in the 90s. Early 90s. How many trucks did they have? A lot of trucks. It could still happen. You never know. Even though you're at a big place, they can close tomorrow. Have money ready. Falcon, let's not jump to conclusions. There's no evidence of illegal activity. I agree. I'm not suggesting they're doing anything illegal other than they did already breach the WARN Act, which requires 60 days notice if you have more than 50 employees. So they did breach that. But otherwise, did they do anything else illegal? I don't know. Maybe they just mismanagement. Who knows what they're going through. Do you think Falcon knew they were going under and just didn't tell their drivers? Absolutely. You can't close a place that's got over 1,200 total employees with dispatchers and everything at the last second and not know it. They're just thinking, the phone rings. All right, just close this place. No way. People knew it, and that's why they picked Saturday night. The news is down, the news cycle. People are home mostly, so most of the trucks are back. Absolutely, they had to know about it. You can't just close a huge place like that at the last second. Florida is bad for loads. Outbound reefer loads are a dime a dozen. Exactly, right. But you're at the Loves in Polk City waiting to head to down to Miami. Are you going to be able to get out of Miami? Even if you have a reefer, right? There's so many of them down there. The loads are 80 cents or whatever. Yikes. Why do truck drivers complain so much? We got a lot of time on our hands to complain about stuff. Britain is under Bison. All right, so we're all together. They're a big family. How many trucks? They listed 700-something trucks and close to 600 drivers, something like that, and plus dispatch and all that. They were over 1,000 people. 1,000 people out of work. Remember, it isn't just the drivers. Dispatchers, mechanics, all these people, managers, they're all just suddenly out of work. This first driver earlier, their fleet manager was still working with them on Sunday, and they were not being paid either, is really a testament to that person. I appreciate that they did that. Video all the delivery. I would absolutely have a video of everything that you did with a Falcon truck from now until you give it back to them. It's Bison's American company. Oh, okay, right. Ever heard of pinging on Chieftain School? No, what is that? I can't imagine what that is. 600 trucks is what they're saying. Yeah, the DOT said like 700 and some trucks. USA bought out Dave's Trucking Company. Who's Dave? In summer, they have oranges. They're drop oranges from Indiana. Nice. We appreciate it. Pick up oranges in Florida. I appreciate you bringing them to me. I love them. We must watch out for their return after they settle. Even when they're settling, they can buy back their own company. Yeah, you never know what these companies, corporate companies like that do. Did I make a video on Pride? I haven't made a video on them. Do I have anything to say about them? I don't like that there's a lot of unpaid time at Pride. Another channel recently did a video about Pride, which I watched and was disappointed in their tacit endorsement of them. Basically, when, one of the things is your first day of layover is free, and then the second day is $50 after the whole day. That's 2 days, 48 hours, $50. That's awesome. Having a nice truck there or whatever, that doesn't pay my bills. So, in the 2 hours of free time, it's not great, just not the greatest. I wouldn't say it's horrible, but, not super fancy about sitting around for free without getting paid. Jared is glad you're a day cabber. If your company were to shut down like Falcon, you can get home. Yeah, you just drive back, right? Because you got enough fuel to make it back to the terminal. Remember, too big to fail? Apparently, Falcon doesn't meet that. Used to run reefer every load into Florida, went down to Tampa, and will pick up a large juice coming back out. The problem at Kim, the outbound is no pay, right? If you're a company driver, it wouldn't make any difference, certainly. But the outbound loads just don't pay anything out of Florida. Owner-operators going down there cannot get a load out of their, just covers their fuel. Pride is a good company. They might be. But, they talk about respect. Respecting a driver, you have to pay them. Okay, you can't just respect them. Hey, I really respect you. Doesn't mean anything, right? You can't have a driver sit for days for $1 an hour and say that, oh, we respect you. That isn't respect. Pay. That's that same driver at Nussbaum where they got $50 at Pride would get $500 at Nussbaum. Keep that in mind. Saw the Saturday video. Keto Walk Fit. What's going on? Horrible. Reminds you of a few companies that closed overnight in the 90s. Yes. It was crazy when I read that. I could not believe it. CF was union. That's correct, right? Remember, all the drivers were just standing in front of the lock gates. There was a terminal here. They went over there. They had just put a sign up. They didn't even tell anybody. Drivers were coming in for their routes in the morning and find the place locked up, closed. Crazy. Oh, you have a dedicated reefer load out of Miami to New York City. Well, Miggy, I feel bad for you, but at least it's a dedicated load. Look, nobody is happy about New York City. That's all I'm saying. I'm glad that it's a regular run. It was Bison that brought out H.O. Wolding, Bison, right? Bison. I don't know. But Britain holds licensed trailers and freight and been curious about them, was wondering. I never looked into them. I will have to check them out. CF closure was brutal. They had a lot of employees. There were thousands of drivers around the country that were literally locked out because the news went over there. And the drivers are like, what is going on? The place literally just was locked up. Spider 8, what's going on? Good to see you here. It's the Pride of CR England. Yeah, Pride's run by some guy named England, although I don't know if he has anything to do with the England family. I think so, which is probably why part of their pay is zero. CF was union. Conway was formed to bust the union. Oh, well, I guess it worked because they're still there, right? Didn't Melton recover most Aero truck drivers when Aero got shut down? They did get a lot of drivers probably with a sign-on bonus. Some companies are doing this, like ATS was on here earlier. Go and get that sign-on at a place. Their companies are reaching out to hire them. And look, companies need to hire drivers, but, there's no reason for a Falcon driver to not be able to get a job, certainly. Quickly, at least. Chieftain is in Flint. Oh, okay. I never heard of him. Small company without confusion. That's good. Traveloco's offering transportation to home for Falcon drivers. That's really good. Is there any catch to that, or are they just giving it to him? And that's really great. Joshua, finished your first run at Road Techs. Oh, LTL, not a big fan of the team driving. Agree. Most definitely going to get experience and find a better company to drive for. Well, you got your foot in, as they say, right, in the industry, and the ball's yours to run with once you get some experience. Traveloco's helping drivers Falcon drivers get home. That's nice. If there's Falcon drivers, Wolverine was on here earlier. Give Traveloco a call. Could you imagine the detention pay, put yourself on duty? I think drivers should get paid for all on-duty time and all driving time by the hour. Simple as that. Why is there 2 hours of waiting time? Who is a company to say you have to work for free for 2 hours? Nobody would tolerate it at Burger King. Why do we tolerate it? Think about Venture Logistics run between Lafayette to Elwood in Roundy. What's a Roundy? Oh, a round trip? Yeah, what's it pay to do that? How far is that? I'm thinking, where's Elwood? Elwood is not that far. Elwood, that's the tomato places over in Elwood, right? The said pay is zip to zip. That's right. Pride was zip to zip too. That was the other thing about them. It was just 1990. Come on, Pride. Who pays zip to zip anymore? Upside to the Falcon thing for people looking to get a truck is there's about to be 600 hitting the auction. Yeah, you can buy the Falcon trucks. New England Motor Freight, I guess. Estes Express is buying a bunch of their trucks. I saw that. Really something. I should do a video about Florida Beauty Flowers. I might have a field day. I never heard of them. It sounds like a place you would go to get your nails done. You can look on the FMCS website to see if their insurance has been revoked. Yes. As of early this morning, nothing had changed about the place. I think Pride is owned by someone from England. Yeah, the guy that runs it, his name is England, but I didn't know if he's connected. It's not, a super uncommon name. James, I persuaded you to unretire. Yeah, come on out here. We need you. Holy mackerel. We need good people out here in the industry. Charge double for loads going into Florida to make up for the no pay coming out. The loads going in Florida usually pay pretty good because of that. So if you can round trip it for whatever, and it's worth it. Adam, that reminds you of Arrow. That was the whole problem with it, is everybody just got shut down. There just weren't as many drivers on the road like Arrow. Falcon has a lot of day cabs, and so presumably on Saturday, many of them are home. New York City is the worst. I totally agree. Someone from Sierra England. No, I think the guy that owns it doesn't work for England, but he's from the Sierra England family. Like, they're all family members, Utah. So what more do we say about that? A lot of companies don't wash their trucks. Yeah, because they know drivers will wash it for them. I found a lot of companies don't pay for washes because they know eventually the drivers will just pay for it themselves. Doesn't Falcon have day cabs? Yes. A lot of drivers were home daily in their day cabs. Yes. See if drivers should have seen that coming. I don't know. I didn't know what was going on then. Maybe doing CDL school with England. Yeah, I would not do that. There's so many other places. That's probably the worst place, or one of the worst places you can go to school. They'll only train you on an automatic. You'll have restriction. Well, I don't think that's the biggest problem there. You don't want to go in the 3-bunk truck on Taco Tuesday. Orange juice doesn't come from Florida. It comes from freighter docked in Delaware. Oh, well, that's why I get it in the wintertime. Please do a video on Danny Herman. It's an awesome small company. Maybe they'll put some Falcon drivers on there. 2 washes a month and run you through dirty states before going through to Ticketville. I would always wash before going to California. I love your company is 100% debt-free and privately owned. Ooh, they cash flow new trucks and equipment, pay us good and treat it well. That's what matters. They got to pay you and treat you well. They can't just say respect and then not pay you good, because that's all part of it. Call up the phone company and tell them how much your company respects you, and they can use the respect as payment. Yeah, and I'll show them a picture of the nice truck I drive too. They respect me and give me a brand new truck. Here's a picture of it, and see you next month. So is Swift zip to zip. That's horrible too. The owner of Pride is the brother and owner of Sierra England. Yeah, I thought, okay, so that's how they're connected somehow. That's why there's a lot of unpaid time. You work for England, have no problem with them. You make good money on a dedicated route. Home for rest when you need time off. Well, here's what I've said about this, right? The only way to work at these large companies is on a dedicated route. Drivers that are at England at your company there that are not on dedicated routes write to me all the time with $300 paychecks. And do you train there as well? You live in Arizona. What company should you go with? Vandal Nor. I never heard of that place. Automatic restriction doesn't matter much. I don't think it matters that much either. Almost every truck post 2015 is automated, manual. It'll give you the DT12 any day. I don't think it's much of a problem anymore. By the way, George Costanza, which I love, right? Even in the cold weather, right? Shrinkage on those trucks is nothing to deal with. I don't think the restriction is as much as it used to be. Come to Pride for CDL training, and then you can get the respect of not being paid. CR gives you 1 free truck wash a month. That's better than some. No school with England. Yeah, CR will put you to school. Swift is out of Arizona. It would be easy to commute if they're close by. Then you got to think, all right, I'm going to do this because they're close by. I'll get my license, get experience, and then I may move on to a place that you want to do for. You're using them kind of the same way that they're using yours, basically. You like that, Smith? I only have to wait an hour and my detention is broken down into 15 minutes. That's better. Got joke Taco Tuesday. Unfortunately, Taco Tuesday is no joke in a CR England 3-bunk truck. Greater Omaha Express. I never heard of that. Is a great company out of Omaha. We are owned by Greater Omaha Packing. Falcon should check them out. Yeah, they should check out that place. And what's their phone number anyway? The guy that owns ShipX is an England guy. Just because it was owned or is owned by a pharmacy, are you a guy doesn't mean the company's bad. ShipX is great. I love ShipX. That's probably where I'd work on the road if I was back a long distance would be ShipX. Just because of the long length of haul. I didn't know they were England too. It's kind of like Bar None and Swift. So England has like this horrible place, and then they have ShipX that pays a great salary. It's just unbelievable. England used to run Walmart dedicated out of Cheyenne. They'd come into Colorado and a couple of the neighboring states. Yeah, if you can get a dedicated run, absolutely. Love the auto. Manual shifting is BS. See, people love it. You just quit a bad company in Lubbock, Texas called White Transportation. Without notice, they stopped paying detention and reduced layover pay and cut in half what they paid for clean DOT inspections. Oh, that's awesome. How did they do that without notice? So just on your next check, it's just not on there? Oh, they go, we don't pay that anymore. You guess it's no problem if they pay you enough to wash it. It's $80 a wash. Well, they know that eventually the drivers are going to wash it. So you're not going to be too hardcore. 3 months, your truck's a disaster, and you're going to get pulled into scale. So I think the drivers eventually wash it. Wild Bill, you like the way he snuck in trinkets. Hey, George Costanza knows exactly what I'm talking about with that. Manuals are the best. Love your Super 10. Oh my God. I didn't know there was more than one of those left in the United States. You must have the other one. What do you think about night transportation? I think that they have an interesting school program in that you get paid right away when you go to school there. They get a lot of good reviews, surprisingly, even though they're a very large place. So it'd be another place to get started. I'll put that out there for them. They pay you right away in school, too, which is pretty good. Phoenix is 2.5, 3 hours from you. That's a long drive. Just like Pride, Swift, Werner, it's still a large place. Always know that you can use them to get your license, and then you can get out if you don't like it. Hard to eat tacos with driving a manual. That's the other problem, right? If we're going to be getting into tacos on Taco Tuesday, of course, with 3 people, everybody can just feed each other, but you got a problem with the manual eating. That's why we like the cab overs. You had the whole space right next to you right here. It was this high. You just put all your food up there. Night's okay, but pay worse than. I don't think they pay worse than England. I don't think that. James, yeah, you just found a friend on here, James. Somebody else has the other Super 10 that's still working in the United States. If you're even remotely thinking about England, do you a favor and give Knight and Rail a call and Swift a call and call everybody else. They're at least 15% better. Look, if you're thinking about England, call every other company in the United States and then do a comparison. Best way to get your CDL, work on the dock with an LTL company to dock to driver like Yellow has that. Holland is advertising that. Get paid to work on the dock while you train. Then most go right to hourly driving jobs. Many offer it. That is true. You never have to be on the road if you don't want to be. Your experience with England was when you had no prorate on the $7,000 debt at 28%. That's correct. You walked away before you were under contract and you're going night. Good. They do not prorate at England anymore. They stopped doing that. You get one a month. We do it twice, though you haven't heard any guff. Yeah, so they should at least wash the truck. They come here and wash them on the weekends, so we don't have any truck issues that way. Every other weekend we get trucks washed year-round. Maintenance costs broke the company back when a headlight cost $1,200. Oh, for 2016 ProStar and the Max Force, and the new Freightliner headlight was $2,400. That's crazy. The Max Force is the real problem in that truck, though, right? Your experience was England, right? Okay, where'd I go? Right, Brian Fuller. Then, after being in a driving for 10 years, they brought me on because you're an owner-op. Truck was $62. That's still a lot of money. I mean, holy mackerel. A new driver can make $50,000. What they don't tell you is that you have to work 70 hours a week. You can make 50 or more as a new driver. You have one recruiter that doesn't work on commission. Good. None of them should be on commission. That's half the problem with them. LTL is the best way to go as a company driver. I like dedicated routes better for me. I don't like doing all those pickups every day. Your auto makes you nervous that the truck has too much control. I don't know about that, right? The toy companies, England, CRST, and PAM, still very far. Stay far from them. Just pick up, where did I go here? Just pick the big companies. They pay the best and they have the driver-facing cameras. Yeah, just pick one. Any one with the camera. That same guy loving the man who's loving his hood at 6 miles per gallon. I don't understand the long hoods. People do love them. If you're not paying the fuel, then I guess it's better. Just because the transmission doesn't mean it's automated is an extraordinary piece of equipment. Have a torque converter. Just because you have a torque converter, it's not an automatic. We call them automatics. It's an automated manual in the semis. Prime, a wash every 15 days is covered at the company. Don't know about lease operators. Oh, they're independent. I'm sure they get to wash their own truck. anytime they want at their own expense. Also, Florida Beauty is a Miami-based over-the-road flower company. You've heard mostly not so good reviews. Driver treatment isn't really there. It seems like that'd be really fragile freight. I mean, flowers, oh my gosh, any temp problems or whatever, and your whole load is a disaster. Then you just bought a load of lilies. Wild Bill likes to shift. The 13 speed was your favorite. Yeah, 13 speed is the way to go, I think. Unless you're hauling super heavy loads or whatever, 13 is exactly the right amount for the road. What's the difference between a light truck? Like Prime has these light weight trucks that they use, and the truck is smaller. The sleeper is smaller. They usually have lighter tanks on them and everything. It literally is lighter than the other trucks. Okay, George Costanza Werner pays for the wash. Send a Mac 41, and poof, they approve the wash. Just like that. Can you do it every not that there's anything wrong with it, right? Can you do it every 14 days? The pay for the engine bath, wow. They always wash the engine, makes pre-trip so easy, yeah. And that way you can see if there's any leaks too, right? Not that there's anything wrong with it. Anyone have thoughts on Old Dominion? I love Old Dominion. The pay is great at Old Dominion. I do believe they have cameras, so that is going to be the downside. But that's probably the highest pay I heard from a company driver who wrote to me at $136,000 at Old Dominion. He'd been there 10 years, though. Detention should go up more per 15 minutes the more you've been there. Oh, that'd be great. The longer you're there, the more you make. Starts low and goes high. Your headlight assembly costs $900 after the snowplow backed into you. That's crazy. Is that one of those LED lights? Because they told me I had this LED light truck that if the headlight goes out, I'd have to get a loaner truck. They'd have to put me in a different truck. Well, they ordered this stupid headlight. Crazy. That's just insane. The water doesn't have amazing pay. They're better than England. And most places, they have really good training, and they'll get your CDL. Look, any place would be better than 3 people in a truck. On your dedicated route, you make $650 and $1,000. $650 is a little bit low, I would say. $650 is low. There are students making $700. So, and a dedicated route should pay the same every week. That's what a dedicated route is. That's what I'm saying. You do the exact same thing every day or every week or whatever, and your paid's the same every single week. That's a dedicated route. Pete and Kenworth don't lock you out of manual shifting with their autos. Freightliner does. They told me here it's a company thing. Some of our older trucks have the manual, and now the new ones don't go into manual because they don't want you doing it. Drivers use the fuel island and windshield squeegee to wash the trucks. I've seen it. I don't understand it. Why are you washing your truck with the squeegee? What is going on with that? I don't understand it. San Pellegrino water. Not a sponsor. The biggest problem with automatics, you can't feel out the weight. You can't feel out the weight. I don't know. I mean, what do you think about Charger Logistics? I never heard of Charger Logistics. You drive for Pan and love 15 cents a mile. That's awesome. Look, that's half the battle. If you love your company, I mean, put that out there. And then out of that 15 cents, do you buy all the stuff at the Pam store also, at pamstore.com, where you get all your logoed merchandise and they take it out of your check? Nobody know do you work there. It varies per person. You know if it's okay by the people you deal with. A lot of personality clash. That's everywhere, certainly. But overall, a company that's putting 3 people in a truck, I'm not a fan of. You've been at FedEx Freight. Oh, yeah, what do you think? Good pay and good life. Freight is steady and all divisions are making money. That's good. And are you home every day on the FedEx Freight side? Ma Penske and where I just disappeared, right. There we go. And it went out for breakfast. It's her birthday. Nice. Really? Is she 86? Wow. That's awesome. If she's 86, that's great. I hope you took her to a nice place. Come one and come all at 68.32 cents per mile. That is the weirdest amount of pay that I've ever heard, and that is really something. Autos are fine as long as everything is right. They require less skill to drive. Oh, well, all right. And are popular because you can put less skilled, lower paid employees in the seat. Well, no, they're popular because they don't buy clutches for them, which saves them tons of money. There's no downtime. The truck shifts itself all the time. And look, almost everybody drives an automatic to their job. You know, I don't see people only driving manuals to work. So PAM stands for penny a mile. Yeah, because that's almost you get there. Swift pays for Blue Beacon. Smith pays it once a month. and the terminal has an automated wash bag. Hey, bag, wash my truck. And the trucks are like the cars, but have for the trucks. Hey, go wash that truck, you wash bag. Drive a 680 or 579 and you'll never drive a freight shaker again. I've had Kenworths. I never had that 579 Pete. I had a 660 and I've had a T2000 Kenworth. They're okay. I mean, it depends how the truck is set up. I like my Cascadia. Best starter flatbed company, easily Maverick. Who did Falcon sell out to? Nobody. No one got a hip and knee replacement from shifting it automatic. Correct, right? Do I drive local? I drive a dedicated local run now. You don't hit your head on the roof of the light truck. You do with a long-nose Peterbilt. The Peterbilt, at least, though, you can reach over and open the passenger window because it's right there. What's the pay scale for Walmart? They pay really good. I just don't like a lot of their policies at Walmart Transportation. They advertise 89 cents a mile, which is not exactly correct here because they're saying your total pay for the year divided by your miles, but that's not actually correct. What about where you disappeared here? Right. What about Eppies? That'd be the same kind of thing as Old Dominion and all those. Call CFI if you need a CDL. They treat you very good. They also have the best cell phone holders. Stop taking your break at the fuel island. I totally agree. Do not break at the fuel island. Go park. New Cascadias have the sealed beam, so whether it's halogen or LED, if the light is out, a new assembly has to be put in. Okay. Yeah, I have a new Cascadia with the LED lights, which are great, but they said that they would have to order another one if it ever went out or anything ever happened to it. Super T Transport offered jobs at transportation to the Falcon drivers. Good. That's really good. You know, we have that kind of thing on the wife's car, too. She's got HID with LED headlights and same kind of thing. It's like $800 if one goes out or something. It's crazy. I'm totally kidding about my Pam comment. Yeah, I knew that was... I know nobody there makes 15 cents. That's way high for Pam. Freight shaker constantly upshifts going downhill. I agree. Terrible idea to lock out the manual. I agree. I don't like the way they shift. It goes 2,200 all the time. Hey, Todd, what's happening? Good to see you here today. Home every day at FedEx. That's really good. So a local job, pays good. Maybe Falcon drivers could check them out. You have to feather the brake to keep the Freightliner in gear. I totally agree about it. A good investment buying company drivers. That's basically what happened, right? Now I guess they got sold. Super T Transport offered jobs in transportation. I love it. Speaking of headlights, the Columbias use early 2000 Mercedes-Benz headlights. Same exact ones. Yeah, weren't they buddies for a while? Do I think the Cory Booker bill in Congress will get us paid an hourly wage? No. I saw a video about that from another driver. No, that's not going anywhere. And you don't want... Congress to demand that because are they going to set the wage as well? I don't think so. You know, that's not going to be the greatest thing. Pride is one of the England brothers. He didn't like where England was going, but he is retired and letting his son run it. It started going downhill. That's every company. Always starts out great. They let their kids run it that don't care, and then the company goes to pot. And you want to go to company paid training, you live in Vegas. Well, you can scoot on over to Knight, which is not that far from you, or called Dot Foods. Western Distributing has a wash bay at their yard. They want you to wash the truck once a week like TMC. TMC wants you to keep the truck spotless. Western, same thing. The lower the pay, the more they want you to clean the truck. And, of course, you're not being paid for that at Western, of course. You're getting a 2019 International with an A20. What's an A26 engine? And a 10-speed automatic. What's an A26? Is that an International engine? Can't always wait for home time in my manual MX-5 Miata. How do you get in and out of it? Right. Oh, my God. But a Miata, one of the last cars with a stick shift? You really get in a Miata there? I mean, are there a bunch of women going thinking it's their car? I mean, a Miata. You really get in a Miata? Your Cat 550 Kenworth is screaming down I-44. Just flew past a prime driver. That doesn't say much, though, right? Oh, my gosh. That was again Friday. 53 miles an hour. I'm coming home Friday. 53 miles an hour. Come on, Prime. What is going on? You can work for Smith, dedicated Walmart. Fleetown, love it. Bedford, Pennsylvania, you get all the same pay and great Walmart loads without the company policy. Exactly. Their only way to work for Walmart is to work for Walmart for another company. Get the CDL, then work till bonus expires and go to a real company. That's not a bad way to do it. It's almost worth going almost anywhere. I mean, at least get a halfway decent pay, but then get your license and then get out if you don't like it. Your thoughts on TMC? I don't like all their stupid policies. If you want to run a flatbed, go to Maverick. You don't have all these, I can't walk on the grass, I have to make my bed, I have to clean the floor mats, stupid policies like that. I have to do more crap company videos. Yeah, we do videos on most Wednesdays about things to consider about companies. You made a delivery to a high school today? Strange place for a rig. What are they getting at a high school? Food? Oh, those rectangle pizzas? Looks like I'm feeling better. Thanks, Todd. I am all medicated up today, but I am getting better. And always will do the Monday show unless I'm in the hospital. Preston, thanks for reading yours. Look, I try to read them all. Coaches, where would I see that? I just disappeared. Coaches, motorhomes, U-Hauls, school buses, no standards, no manual transmissions, no sticks. Yeah. No more speeding tickets with hourly pay. Exactly. You wouldn't violate your logbook, would you? You wouldn't speed. Everything would be logged on duty like proper. You'd log your pre-trip and post-trip, wouldn't you, if you got paid for it? Exactly. Your waiting time would be logged. It solves every problem. That's why companies don't like it. Heard one state has to pay hourly when you're sitting. Look, in Arkansas, this is what happened in Arkansas a while ago. Pam got sued about this. And so the court said, yeah, you're going to have to pay hourly. Drivers are required to get paid 16 hours a day, including sleeper berth time. That was a state only. And it's going to be appealed immediately because the federal government, unfortunately, has exempted transportation since the 30s. So there's no minimum wage for us, and I believe that that ruling will be overturned. We're not going to get it that way. ATS is a family-owned company, 3 generations and 65 years strong. Exactly. ATS would be a good place for these Falcon flatbed drivers to go. They've been on the channel as a featured company here, doing it better. I'll tell you what, ask an auto-only driver where his power band is and what RPM set is it supposed to shift at. Whenever it says, right? Adam, you only do 62. That's better than some prime trucks. Drove a T600 with a Road Ranger 9-speed. It can't turn right. Same with every Pete. Exactly. I want to be able to get backed in and stuff. I've been thinking of starting a mobile truck wash business. What do I think? Yeah, I think that you should do that if you want to do it. I think whatever it is you want to do, you should do. As Motivation Monday, I always say, how much longer are you going to live? And what do you want to do with your life? What do you really want to do? Go do that. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Challenger and Camaro come out with a manual. Yeah, for $57,000. That's correct. Sports cars still get them. A26 is the new international engine. That's what I figured, replacing the Max Force, which was terrible. A26 came out in 2018. Look, if they solve that, and I've seen pictures of the new internationals inside, since, if they would clean up the dashboard on it, maybe I might start liking them again. Raider Express out of Fort Worth is governed at 58. Yeah, they don't get a lot of good reviews online, that's for sure. Where did I go again? Okay, I followed a prime truck in Nebraska at 58 and average 9. Oh, yeah, they'll get better fuel mileage, certainly. What's your opinion on Volvos? I love them. I've had a bad experience. They are extremely comfy. Yeah, exactly. They're comfortable. And since I don't have to pay to fix them, I wish we had more of them. There's one over there at the yard. We have one Volvo sleeper there, but that's it. And the mechanics hate them. They don't like getting parts for them and stuff, but I love them. I think they drive like a car. They're quiet, way quieter. 62 miles an hour, that's barely 500 miles per day. Exactly. Hey, but you get 9 miles to the gallon. You earn more money being unemployed than working for England. Depending on the state, you might. You only got 32 cents for Walmart with Werner. That's really low. You should look into Smith Transportation's Walmart program, I'll tell you that. You do about 540 a day. That's good. Miles, 2 days to do 500-mile trip. That's 250 miles a day. As long as you're getting $1 a mile. They could have for a truck washes, automatic cement mixers or automatics, all heavy equipment. Yeah, a lot of places, right. Bragging about passing a prime is like bragging about beating up an infant. That's great. Oh, my gosh. That would make a great bumper sticker. You make your bed every day. It was Army, so it's a habit. The problem is it's not for the company to tell you to make your bed and then go inspect your bed. Okay, I'm an employee there. That's where I sleep. Okay, it's none of their business if I make my bed. It doesn't affect the safe operation of the vehicle if I make my bed. That's all they should be concerned about. That they want to look at that is enough for me to be out. TMC, the Marine Corps. That's what people call this place, and for good reason. They even say on their own website, oh, we're squared away. If that's something that, interests you, then we're in for that. I'm not in for that. High school delivery might have been the athletic shirts and shorts with the school's name. Oh, yeah, okay. I was hoping for the rectangle pizza, but all right. Smith Transport pays 65 cents running Walmart plus 15 a stop. That seems to be a little better than the Werner pay. And the weekends, 70 cents on the weekends? They give you a weekend differential? For things to consider on Wednesday, I want to send a couple of Miami-based companies. Sure, a lot of fresh out-of-school students don't want to travel for Schneider, Werner, or other carriers. All right, I'm in. Mark at truckinganswersnation.com. When they're governed at 62, there's a lot of runaway trucks downhill. They're trying to just make up some time. Lights on your 389 with Christmas lights. I saw that. That looked really good. Sending me that. And I wanted to ask you if they paid for that or do you have to pay for the lights? Freightliner's descent control should keep the trans from upshifting. Turn the Jake on and set the cruise. Right. If you turn on the Jake and set the cruise at 5 miles an hour over, it lowers the speed of the truck or whatever. Downshifts available anytime under 1,500. You can manually downshift them. Falcon's Twitter page, linked from their primary website, has this on their description. Under new ownership and moving forward in a positive direction. Is that old? I didn't know. I didn't look at their Twitter page. I think a mobile truck wash would be awesome. I have a Twitter page, too, if anybody's on Twitter. Trucking Answers, of course. I'm on there some, not a lot. Hey, Mr. Fave, what's going on? Nice Volvo dash from 82. Yikes. You can average 9 miles a gallon for 10 hours or 7 miles per gallon for 7 hours. The latter is better safe for your hours of service. Yes, they preach this fuel miles per gallon at prime. That's not always the best way to make the most money. It just depends what the load pays, what time it delivers, can you get another load. Just because you get 9 miles a gallon doesn't mean you make more money that somebody gets less miles per gallon. Is there an app on your phone to scale your weight without the CAT scale? Well, it's going to have to sit on a scale. Some trucks have the built-in scales with the little gauges on the truck. What's our take on Tyson Foods? I think they're feeding you like family. Perhaps some of the Falcon drivers may want to check them out. I agree. They may want to check everybody out. Okay, Werner's now at 57 cents for Walmart. That's better. Company drivers are 63 cents a mile. That's pretty good, right? You heard Prime is governed at 64, but their fuel economy, yes. But they encourage, meaning they pounding your head, 57 miles per hour. You want nothing to do with flatbed? I agree. I did it for a while, and it's a lot of work, okay? The downside of a DT12 going downhill is if you do not have your cruise control set, the truck will try to shift down. Look, the one I have shifts to 2,200 sometimes. I don't know what to say about it. I mean, I didn't make the thing, and it shifts, and there's nothing I can do about it. The company doesn't seem to ever say anything about it. 600 miles per day, or you're goofing off or oversized. Well, that's good. Do they look for bed bugs? I don't know what they're looking for. The problem is, who knows what they're going to find back there. They could have one in a truck. Do you know why you never see a prime driver cleaning his windshield? Oh, the bugs bounce off. The bugs just outrun him. I do 550 to 700 miles a day. That's cruising. Keeping your doors closed. That's the way to do it, though, right? If you get 700 miles, you're going to make some money. Smith Transport offers every week or every other week or 3 weeks on and 1 week off. Ooh, I'm in. Walmart at 65 cents on the weekdays. That's probably more than the Falcon drivers were making anyway. There was one guy in orientation with you who agrees to fly home from the Atlanta terminal to Florida because he wanted to be on the Walmart account and they didn't run out of Florida. Well, he should check that before he got there, right? So Smith paid his ticket from Atlanta to Fort Worth and back. Oh, that's nice. So it's kind of like the Schneider deal, right? The Schneider or fly and drive, I forget what they called it, program where they will fly you in to work. Yeah, that's how bad they need people there. You heard Maverick flatbed division is slow. I don't know. It's possible, but it doesn't matter. Maverick has a weekly guarantee. That's what I encourage, right? Maverick has a weekly pay guarantee. So what if you get one load a week and do 200 miles? You get $1,000. And that's not bad if you are not driving. We all missed the rectangle pizza. Oh my gosh, that was not the best lunch. They were $1 when I went to school for the whole lunch. So that was like 10, 12 years ago or so when I was in high school. Flatbed good when you're not a company driver. Flatbed is good when you are a company driver at Maverick because you get a guarantee. Randall Stevens, what's going on? I haven't seen you. Thanks for being here today. Have I seen the movie Over the Top yet with Sylvester Stallone? I have not seen that. Last week I just basically vegetated and slept most of the week. Thoughts on the wreck in Colorado? It was horrible. The driver needs to be jailed. Apparently as a translator in court, which I don't agree with. CAT app lets you scale from the truck, emails you the ticket, but you still have to get on the scale, though. You have to go to the CAT scale. Trucker Hershey, $1.99. Yeah, it got pretty big today, right? Aver just got a Walmart contract hauling containers from port to D.C., local home daily. Bingo. Not bad. If you can tolerate going in there, you'll probably need a TWIC card, right? You got your hazmat, doubles and triples and tanker. Come on. Oh, you got it all. All you need is a TWIC card. They treat you like family. Rule number 1, don't do business with the family. Exactly. Don't ever do business with your family. The Colorado driver just started driving yesterday. Really? Oh, my gosh. No way. Is that his first run? I just got a text alert from a local news station, and the company that caused the accident in Denver has a history of violations. That's not a surprise, right? It's probably a company that only has a few drivers, probably. That's what I'm going to assume. Hey, Wild Bill, what are you trying to say? You could have 4 people in a truck. Everybody only drive 2 hours. When England does this three people, that nobody ever needs a 30-minute break. Because 8 hours a driver, and then that's it, right? So there's 8 and 8, and they're on and off, and then they can just roll their sleeper time. Love it. Did I see a video of the state trooper asking about the driver's bed? I saw a thumbnail. I didn't watch the video. What exactly happened? Did he actually ask if the bed was made? And what did the driver say about that? Speaking of the driver that crashed, isn't it a requirement from the DOT that you must know English? You have to speak English. It doesn't say fluent. I believe it says with the ability to converse with an officer. I think that's how it is said. Tyson load, worst 4-day wait for load. As long as they pay you. Who would wait 4 days for a load? I mean, do they really do that there? The video looks old. Oh, does it? I saw that thumbnail. I didn't take note of that. The officer. The Colorado driver was charged with 4 counts of vehicular homicide. His first day. I didn't know that was his first day. On the job. Is that really that guy's first day driving? Wow, Bill, you're saying we're the same age, and I rounded up. It's been 9 years since graduation. I think you were in I started a year or 2 before you. Video looked like it was edited and patched together. Oh, see, so you never know. When you get these kind of videos, that could have been patched from other videos and put together. We don't know why he's even asking about it. That's always the problem on YouTube or anywhere you see any of this stuff other than a regular news source. You just never know. People put that out. Oh, he's asking me about my bed. Well, is he, or is that some guy from the 70s? Yeah, basic English. It says you have to be able to converse with the ability to hold a conversation with the officer or something. It doesn't say fluent. I know fluent is not in there. Walmart trash 34-hour reset in the middle of the run. I never recommended anybody work at Walmart Transportation. I'm not a fan of all of their goofy policies. And I wonder if that officer was asking a TMC driver if he made his bed, because that guy'd be like, oh, absolutely. It bounces a Eisenhower half off of it. Trump hasn't done anything for truck drivers. He sat in that truck. I saw him sit in it. What happened in Colorado? There was a big accident. Some driver going down the hill there lost his brakes and slammed into a bunch of people, killed, a number of people. And the 28 vehicles are basically in the junkyard now. It was a total disaster. People are saying here that was his first load. I don't know that for sure. Apparently he doesn't speak good enough English where he needs a translator in court. That's crazy. Wild Bill was born at the very beginning of the 1960s. Wow, that's so you'd already been driving when I was born. Yeah. Have you been hearing about all these semi accidents? Yes, I've been hearing about it, and I think it's terrible that People do this. This guy, though, said he closed his eyes. Oh, I closed my eyes before I got down there. That's really something. Why did Falcon shut down? We don't know why they shut down. They haven't said. Obviously, they didn't have any money. That's what I think. It's not like Arrow in where they embezzled, or at least there's no evidence of that yet. They just ran out of money. Lordstown General Motors was one of their largest accounts, which just closed. So when they got all your eggs into one place like that, and the chicken comes by and steps on them, that's the end of it. I think that's how that saying goes. But once they closed Lordstown, no more crews. Basically no more Falcon. There was hardly anything for him to do. They won't let them do anything. Yeah. He does bad companies get trumped. Oh, that's very good, right? Wild Bill, do you know any dinosaurs, Wild Bill? If this sounds crazy, if you're a lease operator, purchase your truck burns down, what happens? You would have insurance for it, If you're a lease operator and your truck burns, you should have insurance just like your car or anything else. Remember, lease operators at a place like Falcon, and this is what I encourage all lease operators not to do it. You're renting the truck from the company. In your contract, which I have contracts from many companies, it specifically says that the equipment remains in the ownership of the lessor, the company. You don't own it. So in a case like this, they go bankrupt. That equipment belongs to Falcon or whoever leased it to you, not you. Unfortunately, the payments you made likely will be lost, just like it was at Arrow. Now, you can work something out with the bank, which they'd probably rather do, for you to keep the truck. But legally, in the contract, it says the equipment is the property of the lessor until you complete the lease. You have the potential to have lost all of your payments, just like that, with no recourse. What, are you going to sue a bankrupt company? There's nothing for you to do. It's sad, but you agree to it in the contract when you rent a truck from a company. Here in Duluth, you had a semi-truck lost his trailer brakes and hit 5 cars. What the heck? What the heck? Falcon lost the GM account. Yeah, Lordstown. When that closed, they must have known, and it closed a few weeks ago, and that's when people started reporting Falcon. Not everybody, but some drivers were reporting they weren't getting paid. Falcon was like, oh, we'll catch you Monday, or it's a bank glitch or whatever. And there's tons of those drivers saying that. So right then, they're like, we're not getting any more money. They just continued to run some freight, collect the money for themselves or to keep the lights on or whatever. And it just went all downhill. That's all speculation on my part. But the driver's not being paid, that is not speculation. Part of the problem is the companies are not training younger drivers. I agree. People should be trained better on these hills. You can't just drive around Texas and then send somebody nationwide. You know many companies with their own schools that hire felons, no matter the felony? Well, they're always going to be, if you killed 9 dispatchers, that's probably not going to be a great plan. Western Express will hire you with felonies, and Carolina Cargo will hire you. I don't think it's no matter the felony, but I think that's probably your best chance to get a job. If you have enough where you wrote a line like no matter the felony, I'd probably call Western. You're not going to get treated well there, and you're not going to make a lot of money, but it will get you in the industry if that's something you want to do. It's possible to do. You still can. Now, some felonies you're not. Oh, I steal interstate freight loads. Then you're just not going to be able to get a job. But you can call them. You can call them. It was certainly worth a call. You put an application in at Falcon this morning. Get your sign-on bonus up front. You're the oldest one here, James. I don't know about that. And remember when trucks had no power steering or air conditioning, all cab overs in a 290? I've driven a truck with no power steering and no air conditioning, and a 310, 330, 410 Cummins, dual power Cummins. I have had those in there. 350 Cummins I've had. So we're probably close, certainly. But the no power steering, yeah. And then when I got air steering, I thought that was like the best thing ever. I'm like, oh, wow, this is really something. Trucking with Mr. Coach, that's a nice name. When going in front of a judge, you better have a translator if you don't dominate the language. The term used in court are not the same as a daily trucking business. I agree. And what people are saying is that since he doesn't maybe 100% understand the language, this covers the court, right? To say, oh, well, we gave him a translator, so he absolutely knows what we're talking about. I get that. I get it. You're at the TA in Whiteville. What's going on out there? You remember, I thought you were in Plainfield. I remember the tanker crash on I-95 in Maryland, but the story was pretty vague. When was that? When did that happen? Falcon was trumped. I don't think he had anything to do with this, certainly. This is people not caring that their vehicles are not made in the United States, which is where they should be made. I just talked to my dispatcher. Johnny's one of the Smith Transport DMs, and the new guy's about 2 to 3 weeks. Then you get a permanent DM. All right, dinosaurs, you're a dinosaur. You never realized it till now. He was telling me that you're a great driver. I love it because you run your whole clock every day and maximize your miles. Wanted to talk to a few others who drive 6 hours a day. Nice. 6 hours a day. That's a nice day of work. You got to drive the Grapevine while you're training. That's great training right there. They should make you go back and forth on it. Oh, the company paid for the lights. Good. I was wondering if you bought those and gave them to them or whatever. That's really good. No air with the vent open blowing on your shorts. Yeah, exactly. Right. You pop the vent open and you got the crotch coolers or wherever the air is blowing. Exactly. When you started trucks ran on steam. I've had air starters. I'm sure many of you have had the air start. So if the truck leaked its air out overnight, the truck wouldn't start. Have I heard of KA Logistics in Bolingbrook, which is near Chicago? No, and I'm very nervous about places that are a logistics company in Bolingbrook, Illinois. So I'm going to say 1099 without even knowing. Super Trucker 2017 is here. Good. Thanks for being here today. Mad Maldy, your dad's cab over had no power steering, and it was a junk. It was a junk. Nice. Those were the days. Yes, those were the days of you're going to come in on Monday and don't know if the truck will start because if it had an air leak, your truck wouldn't start. Love it. Her recommendations for open deck. Well, I would say ATS does a lot of open deck work. So that'd be a place I would call certainly. And they've been in the chat here a couple times today and may still be here. They, I believe they'll do open decks and need a few drivers. Not that many, which is good. A company that's always needs 100,000 people is probably not a great place to work. As far as the dedicated at Werner, you did over the road, and the Anheuser-Busch dedicated was 40 cents. 2 cents for per diem. Dedicated was 43 with no per diem. So you got a penny on it. 43 is not great. I mean, at least you're over 40 cents. Anything in the 30s now is just forget it. So you can buy one of their trucks. Are they selling them? Probably some driver's selling one right now. They're not for sale yet. Air start is the sound you'll never forget. Yeah, exactly. You were told you were a rising star at Marvin Keller and have a huge ego now. Oh my gosh. Are they going to give you a jacket that says that Marvin Keller Rising Star? Do they have that? I learned how to use a low gauge 6 months ago. Rarely have to weigh now. I'm always nervous about them unless I keep the same equipment. Okay. I've had them on trailers, but then you drop a trailer and pick up a new trailer with the gauge. I don't know if that gauge works. So I would always be nervous I'd go scale it again. It would be a real problem. They should make these trainees have a 48-foot trailer and only 60,000 pounds. I don't know about that. Let's train people on what they're going to use. There's Anderson Trucking Services here. They have 7,000 company-owned trailers. That's a lot of trailers. I didn't even know that. That's great. And thanks for being on here today and getting these Falcon drivers put back to work. I had a Freightliner automatic, the owner manual, and not to do over 2,400. I would say so, right? Oh my gosh, I'm 2,000 is way high. I think. Man of my age, I don't know what that means. Must have read a book about old trucks. What's a book? So you understand what it was like. Extreme upper 30s. Yeah, that's how I read about this stuff in dusty books and old things. What is it? Library. That's what those are called. Is Mad Max Road Warrior considered a truck driver movie? Any movie with trucks in it is a truck driver movie. And when I left Werner, only dedicated available was Purdue and Family Dollar. Well, forget Family Dollar because of the work. I don't care if they're on rollers or whatever. I'm not doing it. For people that may love it, it may be great. But it's just too much work for me. And Purdue almost treats you like family, right? Everything is going good with the new job on the way to Nashville, Illinois. Good. Where did that load come from? That is really good. Oh, somebody asked about logs too. Should you log it at Falcon if you're driving home? I would log that. Okay. People said, oh, personal conveyance. Look, it's got a load or whatever. If you're loaded, just log it like you're doing it, just like normal. Don't try to scam out on the logs or whatever. I'd probably paper log it because I don't know where the ELD is going to in that place. Paper log and do it. Don't forget the blinker fluid and radiator bearings. Yes. I-shift Volvo or automated manual Freightliner, the Volvo shift a lot better. You have to do the grapevine 4 times when you're on your permit. Good. That's good training. I-shift Volvos are lagging. No, I love them. I love the way the Volvos shift. I could start with Schneider. Any other suggestions? Should I start with Schneider? Well, in Chicago, everybody is not everybody. A lot of places are a huge scam up there. It's crazy. 1099 all over the place. So call Schneider then. Old Detroit's ran there at least 3. Yeah, the old Detroit ran at 3,000 exactly. Not now. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I agree. The old ones, you had to really rev them to get any power out of them. Infinity Split 456. Channel helps you greatly. Keep doing it. Thoughts and prayers for Falcon drivers. Totally agree. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. And for your thoughts for Falcon drivers. Fortunately, there haven't been that many on here. I was hoping to get some on here. Maybe they all got home. Scale your truck $7 at a cat scale is cheaper than a ticket. Exactly. And $7. Where's a cat scale for $7? 192 people, highest you can remember. Yeah, it was over 200 a few minutes ago. This is the biggest that we've ever had on here. Black Dog is the best truck driver movie with Swayze. We all remember him fondly. You were hauling transformers and those big green ones. They're all full of oil. Yeah, it does, right? People don't know these things are full of oil. You almost need a tanker endorsement to haul them. Any driver in the Northeast looking to PMT, Paul Miller. Never heard of it. No touch. 1,400 salary. Oh, I love it. I love it. Right. Yes, send me an email about that. Your house is 1.5 miles from Purdue Corporate. Are the Falcon drivers still responsible for the load that they're under? I would take it back. You're responsible until you give it back to them. So I would take it back to Falcon property and be done with it that way. You know, that's how I would handle that. I wouldn't, always don't just leave it at a truck stop. That really bothers me. Leaving it at a truck stop is really a problem, I think. I also wouldn't, just let it sit around. I would totally, would I deliver it? Maybe. But I wouldn't leave it sitting around at a truck stop. That I wouldn't do. I think that is a huge problem for people. You don't want the load to have some kind of problem. So get rid of it. Don't let it sit at your house also for a long time. People are saying, I'll just let it sit at my house. I don't think so. I don't think that's a great idea. Until they come and get it. No, just go give it back to them. And be done with them, and that's the end of them, My house, PMT is Northeast Regional. Oh, no force, New York City. Good. Nobody wants to go there. I-shift Volvo holds the gear into the turn and won't shift until the trailer is directly behind the truck. See, the one, I haven't driven one here for a while, but I didn't have any problems. I thought it shifted better than a Freightliner, and it would pick you up better at the red light, which seems to be the problems I have. So at the light turns green and you get on it, it would pick it back up much better. Illinois needs to clean up the 1099 like California, yes. Chicago is a black hole of 1099s. People are being misclassified. They're like the worst place in the whole country for that. Roderick loved the 8V92s. Yeah, holy moly. Yeah, when they were out. You have a question about the physical companies too? Yes. Do they check for hernias? Yes. So would having a small uncomplicated hernia disqualify someone? I don't know. I don't know if it would disqualify you. They do check you for it. Well, let's put it this way. Let's ask that out there. They checked me, but because I had a hernia years ago, so I have a big scar from it, which I will not show on this channel because people were just about to click off. It will not be shown here, but I had a hernia, so maybe that's why I get checked for it. I'm not sure. So let's put it out there that way. Would it disqualify you? That I don't know. When did Falcon do this? Yesterday. Saturday, 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Saturday, they just closed up shop, left people wherever they were. If the driver couldn't read English and didn't know what the runaway ramp was for, they will get him. Oh, maybe he couldn't read it. That'd be interesting to put that out there and see if he could read it. If the walls had ears, exactly. Any brand new air tandems got to drive 5 miles to get them to work. It always bothered me that, the scale thing. I just never know. Like I get another truck, I immediately fill it up. Noobs in Chicago should go to Yellow Freight. They have a driver training program. I agree. That'd be way better in Chicago probably than Schneider. What kind of truck was Snowman's rig? I'm going to say a Kenworth. on there. A union job with the driver training. Yes, that's correct. Yellow will train you, put you in a union job, never pay a dime for your health insurance your whole life. Yes, sir, or at least until the end of the contract. Had to mash your hand in the door to get mad to drive it over 3,000. Holy moly. Hey, you say once you're fired and not responsible. I do say that. I agree. You're fired. I'm saying if a company, that was for a video about getting a company to change. Then they can't fire you on the road because you're not responsible for the load anymore. You're not. You could walk away from it. This is sort of a different story in that you want to get home and you got this load. Are you responsible? I don't think you are. Okay, I'm not a lawyer. Do I think you're responsible? No. I think you could just leave it because of the message that they sent out, that they said we're done with operations. You don't work here anymore. I would take it back to them just to be done with it and to get myself back to my car. But I don't think you're legally responsible. I don't think so. Any driver that signs for a loader is responsible until it's delivered. I don't know. No, what if you can't deliver it? The company goes, they're not paying, or we won't take it. It could be days. I don't think so. Once you're fired, you don't work for the company anymore because you're an agent for the company when you sign the load. There's a legal term. So you sign that load. I'm a driver, agent for company X or Falcon, right? You're signing for Falcon. You're not signing you personally. I'm their agent as a driver. It's them. It's their load. It isn't your load. You're just delivering it. So I don't think so. Steel Horse is eating the roller wiener. Al Johnson, they didn't check you for a hernia, so maybe they only checked me because of what happened to me. By the way, that hernia, I was very young. So you're rebuilding an 8V92. Can't wait, really? I want to see when you get that thing running. I want to see that thing. Miggy did not get checked for a hernia, but they do check your vision and hearing, of course. More meticulous because you had staples in your head when a hood fell on you. Okay, really? So they think that maybe that's a problem. Maybe that's why I get checked for it. Maybe they just want to do it to me. They're like, hey, we're going to check you for a hernia, mister. So that's always possible. That's what I think. I feel better about it if it's that way. Leave it at the mechanic. Yeah, I would. Look, I want to get back to my car is the other thing. So I want to take it, back when the place is closed. I would not leave it sitting on my own property because then it's sitting there. You've then taken it onto your property. Try to give it back to them or leave it where it is. Say, here's the message. I'm leaving it. I think you're okay in that. I think so. Steel Horse says a small hernia will not disqualify you for physical, but will that company still hire you? You need to ask the company. Oh, yeah, okay, that's very good. They could put it on there and the company's like, oh, well, we don't want you blowing your insides out, lifting a box or something. So they always have the option to not hire you even if you pass a physical. Travel Local will pay for Falcon drivers that are stranded from anywhere in the country. I think that is really an awesome thing to do. And I don't know if that's true or not. We're putting that out there, but I'll assume so. Something is wrong with the truck if you're not being paid. I agree. They get a week. If they normally pay on time, they get the next week. If they don't pay the next week, we're done. You got to pay me a com check or we're finished. Falcon message said stop operations. Yes. Maybe you should park immediately because insurance canceled. Maybe. But you know what? They didn't say that. And that's why I'm saying they should have said our insurance is no longer valid. All trucks must be parked immediately. That isn't the message. It said you don't have to do any more work for the company. You don't do any further work for us. I think that so since they didn't say that to the drivers, are they not then taking responsibility for anything that happens? Because if they knew the insurance is canceled but didn't say anything, I mean, that'd be the thing I would say. Park that truck immediately. We no longer have insurance. You're not covered for anything. Be very careful. Go park the truck and something will be taken care of. You're all fired, something like that. They didn't talk about the insurance in their message, which bothers me and leads me to believe it could possibly still be going. You pay on your car, whatever, it's good until the end of the policy because you've made the payment. So if it ended that day, I would still suggest that they'd be responsible because they didn't tell the drivers they didn't have insurance. Oh, she came out of Sydney, Ohio. All right. Isn't YRC or yellow freight? Exactly. It's YRC now. We call them yellow. How does Canada stand on 1099? I don't know what Canada would say about it other than independent contractor. I don't know. What's 1099 in Canadian? It's probably like 1162 or something. I don't know what the conversion is on it. I'm pretty sure they look poorly upon murder and rape. Yeah, that's the thing. No matter the felony makes me wonder what the felony is. What was that felony? I mean, no matter the felony, right? I don't know. Use the tune to those old Detroits by Blue Flame coming out of the stacks. Oh my gosh, those are the days, right? You're right. The doctors say, look at this young guy. Yeah, exactly. They go, wow, that's something we want to check out right there. They're supposed to check your stomach and other hernia. It's on the doctor, things to check according to the physical. Oh, okay. Well, I think some doctors are lazy about it too, really. You saw one of those Aero trucks that you were used to drive in Chicago. And by the way, Steel Horse, I felt better about it until you said that. I thought maybe they were just checking me, just to do it to me. You saw one of those trucks you were used to drive in Chicago. What the air-operated windows and steering and starter was an oversized low guy. Yeah, everything was air. The air starter, the passenger window was air. The wipers were air. Everything ran on air. And the steering was air. So when you're trying to back up, all this air is operating. In the rain, the wipers slow down. You can't turn the steering wheel. Yeah, it's a total disaster. Little dog went live to let people know. Okay, I guess people will be going over there. I don't know. How did Falcon send the message? No, they sent people had a text message. They had screenshots of their phone. That's what I saw Saturday night. So people, apparently they communicate that way. I don't know if they have a Qualcomm, but it was all screenshots of their phone. Yeah, you were in Plainfield last week. I know, right. But I was saying, I thought you might come to Plainfield every Monday on a regular run. You just got here. Another company fall down. Yeah, Falcon is ceased operations at 8 p.m. on Saturday. Send a message to drivers. Hey, by the way, yeah, we're done. Nobody do any more work. You're all fired. They didn't tell them they're fired. They said you don't have to do any more work for us, basically because we're not in operation. Then nobody answered their phones anymore. And all the dispatchers, everybody, nobody knew. There are some people that knew, but everything is closed there. They're not in operation, not hauling freight, nothing. Love it. Technically, if a company's no longer in business, then you're no longer an employee. I agree. So therefore, you're no longer responsible. I agree that you aren't responsible for the company equipment because you don't work there. As soon as you don't work there, you're done. You could just literally, I think, leave it. Now you couldn't, I would say at least park it somewhere legally. You can't just leave it in the middle of the street. I think we all agree to that. That's unsafe. You have to park it somewhere safe, but I think that's it. Hey, Big Huge Mike overslept today. Well, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you being here anyway. What is it at 1099 in the States? Here in the United States, 1099 is generally used to misclassify drivers as independent contractors when they should be employees. But 1099 is an independent contractor. Is that Blue Falcon out of Ohio? That's them. They are done with operations. Ohio finished. Joshua got a new load. Been sitting in the yard since 6:30. Well, what the heck? Monday morning, I would think it'd be packed with loads, right? I mean, that is the way. That's the way it should be. 1099 means you have to pay 15% extra for self-employment. Yes, you pay the part that the company doesn't pay. Plus, you don't get any benefits like workman's compensation, unemployment, any of these kind of things. No health insurance provided by the company. No disability by the company. Nothing. Everything is all on you. Hey, Michael, doing better here? Yes. Feeling a little better and always doing better here, certainly. Now, also, don't forget, this Falcon was also like Jevic. Remember them? The same kind of thing happened to those drivers. So drivers should always have a couple of $100 available. $300. That gets you home from anywhere in the country. So like we're saying, you're an employee and they say we're no longer in operation. So you go, fine. I'm at the TA. I'll just leave their truck. Do a video of the truck, please. At least do a video of the truck for yourself. Walk around the whole truck. Show where you're putting the key in the video. Talk about it. Talk about the date and all that. And keep that video just for later use if you need it. And then with this few $100 you got, you can go get a car, or depending where you are, somebody can come and get you. You can take a crack hound. You can do something to get yourself home, because now you get stuck. You're getting stuck out. If the truck doesn't have any fuel, or you don't want to drive it because you're not an employee, which I agree, you still have to get yourself home. You could be 1,000 miles from your house. That isn't any great thing. This is Arrow all over again. Yeah, I think for a different reason, but yeah. I don't think anybody was embezzling. It's possible, I guess. I don't know them. But it's aero all over again. Trucks are going to be everywhere. Not as many. A lot of Falcon trucks are day cabs, so they won't be scattered all over the place, and I couldn't find any around here, so I don't know how many people are actually stuck out. What about if you're a Falcon team driver? I don't know if that would change. I guess then the two of you can go home in one car. I don't know how you both abandon the truck there and leave. I do think a video of the truck, if you're leaving it somewhere, is a good idea, just to show that when you left it, it was in good condition, because otherwise we don't want anything on a record, that you can prove either way. If you take the crack on will you fail your drug screen, yes, probably you'll get a passive positive you'll get a passive positive with the free Wi-Fi that they have on there. So you may get your hernia checked on the bus. So that may be something you don't want to have happen. Holy mackerel. You keep an emergency credit card on you. You get home somehow if the need arises. Where exactly are you, and where exactly is the emergency credit card located? We're just asking for a friend, just for informative purposes here, so that you can keep that. But yeah, a few $100 can be the difference between you begging somebody for a ride and you going to Enterprise, because they'll pick you up. Remember, Enterprise picks you up, so always consider that as well. Yeah, CAT scales are $11.50. That's what I'm saying. Where's this $7 scale going on? So this happened to you at Roberson, the same thing. You were abandoned basically by the company somewhere. You don't have to run logs now. You're a private carrier, not for hire. But except you're not a private carrier either, really, right? You're a carrier that doesn't have authority to operate anymore. Apparently, from what people said, according to the FMCSA, their authority is no longer good. So you're not anything. You're just basically driving a truck around. So I personally would run the log. I would run it, because in an accident situation here, you still need to be able to prove that you weren't tired. How do we know you weren't driving 20 hours? All these kind of things. But, you should also have the Uber app on your phone and Lyft. Okay, and I put out yesterday, I don't know if I have it, 7I0N6, right? You can put that in. That gets you like $2 off. I got a code to get $2 off a ride at Uber, which would help. But always have that app on your phone. You never know when you'll need to take an Uber from the truck to a car rental place. You may be in a small town or somewhere, and you have it on there already set up. Just get a car, get a ride, and get the heck out of town. Always be ready with this kind of stuff, so that you're not caught off guard. Now, there's going to be drivers that really have a huge problem with this. It is a big problem. So in Minnesota, in winter, you still need it. Exactly. Stephen Bond, you're here late, but I appreciate you coming in. What do you think about Falcon giving us problems like this? Hey, Joshua, we're going to get going, but you'll be here next week. I appreciate that, you coming in for that, certainly. What would you do with this Falcon? So would you drive it home? Do you leave it somewhere? Or do you take it to Falcon? What do you do? Do you keep it at your house? What would everybody do on this? I'm really curious on what people think since we've been talking about this Falcon. I would take it back to my car if it had fuel in it. And then depending on how far it was, I'd have to determine, how much fuel I'm going to need to put in it to get it back. It might be cheaper than renting a car depending on how much farther I have to go. Maybe I need 10 gallons of fuel. So that's only $30, $35. I'll just put that in it and not worry about the fuel tax or whatever. Pay it all right there on a card and just go back to my car. That's what I would do with it. What other people do with it, if you think you're not an employee, which you wouldn't be, but I'd still want to get back to my car. I don't want to rent a car to have to go back to my car if I'm not that far away. Falcon only basically went this side of the Mississippi River. We didn't really see him doing 48 state authority. I think they had it, but I don't think that you really saw him out there. So likely most drivers are 500 miles or less away from their car. I know there was a guy that was on the news, and he was in Toms Brook, Virginia, and he said, I'm just leaving the truck here. He goes, they don't care about me. I don't care about them. They can come and get their truck. My wife's coming to get me or something. So maybe your wife would come and get you, or your husband would come and get you as well. I would go back and drop the truck off at Falcon property is how I would do it. Why not leave the Falcon truck in paid parking? Oh, nice, because you probably have to sign up for the parking yourself. I don't know if the company pays for it, so that would hose you on that, right? You've had 7 physicals in the last year and a half. Oh, only 2 of them checked you for a hernia. It depends on the company, what medical clinic. Yeah, I think some of the doctors get kind of lazy on that stuff, right? I'd park it and fly home. Oh, nice, and not take a chance on insurance on the truck. That's the other thing. They didn't say it wasn't insured. Maybe they should have. They should be clear about that it doesn't have insurance. We don't even know right now whether it has insurance or not. I'm not sure. But that's a good point of not chancing it because of the insurance. You are taking a risk. Falcon didn't give any options. They can't complain. I agree. Look, they didn't say bring it back to us, do something. They didn't say. They're just like, nobody works here anymore. So what happens to the trucks is on them. They didn't care. I agree with that. You would look for a company near where you park it, get a new job, clean out your truck, and into the new truck. Oh, yeah, that's good. Use the truck to commute to the new place. That's a good way to do it. Be decent about it. Bring it back to the base and unload your stuff. Yeah, that's the other thing. If you're flying back, I don't know if I could put all the stuff that's in a road truck on a plane. I guess you could ship it home, but it would be easier to just rent a car, I guess. You're amazed at the abruptness of Falcon? Yeah, it happens, though, in the United States, right? This kind of stuff happens. Jevic, Aero, CF, this happens. It happens. If the company went out of business and the trucks are uninsured, I wouldn't drive an uninsured truck. So you're in for parking at the truck stop, right? And renting a car, and you're out of it, right? You just get an Uber right from the truck stop and head on out. Now, you may have to drive it at least to a truck stop. You'd have no choice. You can't leave it on a shoulder. Some people said, I'll leave it on the shoulder. Don't do that. Don't do things that are unsafe. You could be criminally liable if somebody hits it when you could have driven it somewhere safe. Daniel has a new 389 glider there. Wow. What are they running for the engine in that glider kit? Yikes. You deliver the load. Wow. Drive the truck home. Let them know you have the rig. And if they have the money for recovery, they have money to pay you. Nice. Aero, if I remember right, Aero did that. After a few weeks, they offered drivers money to bring the trucks back. I remember it was hundreds of dollars to drive the truck into an Aero shop or to a dealer, a Freightliner dealer. They did offer money, so that is one way to do it. Now, the Des Plaines, Illinois Chop Shop. I talked to my wife about this yesterday, and I said, look, because I used to live in Chicago, I said, there are places that will take that entire vehicle from you for cash. No receipt, and you'll never hear any more about it. So there's ways to do that. I'm not saying to do that. That's stealing. You can't do that, certainly. Just like the Aero guys, if you see one, give them a ride. Yes, if there's an Aero driver around you and your company allows it, or you have a car, give them a ride somewhere if they need a ride. Leave the truck in a Walmart parking lot. I think that's fair. I do think leaving it is fair. All I was saying is that I would take it somewhere back to Falcon's property, back to my car is what I would try to do, wherever my car is, if it had fuel. If it's a long way, 1,000 miles, I'm not filling the truck up to go that kind of thing. Then you may want to rent a car. But, if it's close and I can get back, that's how I would do it. Mr. Bob, Mr. Mr. Barbecue. There I was in the process of getting your CDL, and you found the videos informative. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I try to put out 3 to 5 recorded videos a week, and I do this live show every week as well. Better get the money up front to drive the truck back. Remember, the drivers are out 3 weeks' wages. Yeah, they are due a bunch of back money. A lot of them are due back money, too. It's terrible. Jared, they lost me for a minute. Yeah, I'm surprised the internet held up today. At least it did good for me today. If Falcon is out of business, park the truck at the truck stop, zip tie the keys somewhere. They can't force you to pump fuel out of your pocket. I agree. I would be doing that in my own pocket. If you're broke and haven't been paid, I agree. Look, they can't make you put the fuel. I totally agree with that. They would have to take care of all that and pay you. And, that's an interesting way to do it. There's right now, though, you're saying drive the truck, back front, give you the money up front. Okay, there's nobody to get in contact with at the moment. Even news organizations and that, no one's answering. So, would you park this thing at your house for weeks? Maybe you could, I guess. Then again, you have no problem running sketchy and tend to be cutthroat. Well, and it may work out for you. You may be the one that gets paid where the rest of us don't. All I'm saying is that once they fire you, you need to get a job, certainly. So what I'm trying to do is get back to my car, which is at a Falcon lot somewhere probably. And then so if the truck had fuel, maybe I got a half a tank, I got enough to get back. I'm like, I'll just go back, drop it off, do a video of the truck in its totality, that it's parked. Here's where I hid the key. Here's the paperwork to the load. I wouldn't deliver the load. That I wouldn't do. And, and it's all taken care of. Can drivers file a class action suit against Falcon? Yes. This happened to NEMF, New England Motor Freight, as well. Same thing. They violated the WARN Act, which requires the company to give 60 days notice or pay 60 days wages to people that are not notified of within 60 days. So they didn't give notice. These drivers are due 60 days of wages plus back wages, certainly. So I can't believe an attorney's not on this. I'm sure there is one. And if you're a Falcon driver, search that up, class action against Falcon. It's going to be started soon, but it's going to take time to get your money. Take the truck to Mexico and leave it with a mechanic. Yeah, Mexico will put a Mexican lien on the truck. Some people kind of suggested that kind of thing yesterday too. This is the reason you keep your tanks full. That's a very good point. Don't ever go low on fuel. You never know when your company is going to close. I can get another job with the truck in the yard. I agree with that. But, Aero took a while, so if you don't mind storing it, and some of the drivers at Aero, I will tell you, some of them had, rolls of aluminum on there. What happened to those? I have no idea, but what's a 40,000-pound roll of aluminum worth? Calvert, what's going on? Thank you for coming in today, talking about this Falcon disaster as in trucking. It's just a total mess. And the thing is, what happens now? What's going to happen with Falcon now? They're going to just sell off just like Aero and just be done? Somebody buys them out of, they haven't even filed for bankruptcy. They just basically closed. They just closed and said, guess what? You're fired. The employees are due 60 days of wages. They should file with the state immediately for unpaid wages, see where that goes. But they're going to need an attorney. And I think, and that's how these companies do, they'll settle this WARN Act thing. They will end up not having to pay the 2 months of wages. They'll settle it. It's sad. 60 days notice is useless. It doesn't have any teeth. The drivers won't get a penny. New England settled it for something. They already settled that. But the drivers didn't get the full amount that they should have got because they have to maintain your insurance and everything for that 60 days. And companies don't. Remember, you're out of insurance now. They're closed. So they closed. You don't have insurance. Maybe one of your family member went in the hospital Friday. Guess what? They're not paying your bills. The insurance, we don't even know if they paid the premiums. It's a huge disaster. 300 gallons of fuel go pretty far. Yeah, if the tanks are full, you can get it back across the country for them, right? People have been burned, need to help the new guys get back on their feet. Yeah. Look, I went around to try to find Falcon drivers and couldn't find any here, which is good because there were Aero drivers all over the place. From what I'm seeing online and stuff, there aren't that many people that are stuck out. There's very few of drivers that are stuck out. They had a lot of day cabs. I dropped the trailer and hammered down home. If you had to put $50 for fuel, yeah, that's worth it. That'd be cheaper than a Greyhound ticket, and you could take all your gear. That's not a bad idea, too. Falcon went belly up like multi-group logistics. Yes, that's correct. Here's the problem, spam, okay? And I love spam, just so you know it. Dropping the trailer and then leaving the trailer and taking the truck, separating it, that concerns me a little bit. Am I informed about the federal minimum wage law for drivers? Yeah, there's no federal minimum wage law for drivers. There is a video out that is not correct. Drivers are exempted from federal minimum wage through the Fair Labor Standards Act. They always have been. There is a proposal that change. It's going to go nowhere, and the law is not changed. That law is brought up almost every year by somebody. It gets 2 sponsors and then dies off in some committee. That's not going to happen. And by the way, never fight for minimum wage. It's $7.25 an hour. Big deal. Don't try to get the least amount possible from anything like that. But that's not going anywhere, and it's no laws changed or anything like that. I think you can ask RVT what to do with it. Yeah, I guess we could ask him. Will you ever see mega carriers close? Yeah, look at CF, people. In the 90s, CF had thousands of drivers, and they closed just like that. I don't know if I would consider them a mega carrier, but they were a nationwide carrier with thousands of drivers, and one day they just locked their doors. It's possible. Wow, Bill, how many people did CF have? How many thousands of drivers? It's a lose-lose for both parties. If it's not in writing, it didn't happen, but if they filed for bankruptcy, they don't owe you a cent of that agreement. Well, they do have to pay the WARN Act regardless of bankruptcy. They don't get out of that. What happened to the products being transported? Yeah, that's the problem, right? We don't know. Thomas, heading out. Thanks for being here today. You were talking to Weekend Dispatch here at Smith, and they were telling you they have had a shortage of freight over the weekend. Oh, there's just nothing extra. Well, it's a weekend. Take it. You get a break on the weekends. Too bad you can't sue a company for abandoning drivers. Well, can get your WARN Act. You get 60 days of pay, 60 days of medical coverage, that kind of thing. While Bill, when Consolidated closed up, the CSX yard near the terminal received a train full of CF trailers. Yeah, I bet. That way to do it because you can own the truck in Mexico. CF was union. They were, right. They were a union company, but one day they locked the door. There were a lot of drivers. Now, most of those drivers were home because they're local drivers. And that's what's happened here at Falcon as well. A lot of their drivers are local drivers. So I think on Saturday night, that might have been the best day for them to do that because a lot of their drivers were home already. And a lot of the trucks were parked. Although there are some drivers out. Gustavo, he could, oh, right. He'd be looking for drivers, right? Maybe he could put some of those people to work. That'd be pretty good, right? There were thousands of CF drivers, though. And one day they just came in and it was locked. This happens not every day. It's not like every day companies close. I bet there's more of them than we know about because a lot of them are small companies and we don't hear about it. If it's 5 drivers, we never hear about it. It doesn't make the news. So I think this happens more than we think it does. Kim would take the truck as far towards your house as possible. Once it got low on fuel, you'd stop at a major city and take a bus or plane home. That's what I'm thinking too. It depends on how much farther you had to go, right? Because, 7-8 miles to the gallon. If you have 70 miles, it's only 10 gallons, $35. That's maybe cheaper than you certainly don't want to take a bus if you don't have to. And a plane is hundreds of dollars, especially walking up last minute. You'd have to figure all that out. But these guys Falcon didn't go that far. So you probably don't have Falcon drivers stranded in Washington that need to get back to Youngstown, Ohio. They just don't have that problem. Then you're going to want to just fly home. I wouldn't drive it, probably across the country unless it was already full of fuel. The big company you're with is having a shortage of freight all over the U.S. Yeah, that's the reason that I recommend a route that pays a minimum pay. So like Maverick is a good example. With their minimum, you get paid even when there's a shortage of freight. That's what I like, right? I get it paid the same kind of way. So if freight slows down, I still get paid. And that's the deal of a minimum pay. Bad management, get out of truck, game over. You can't determine that though when you go to work there. You just never know. And it's not like Falcon just opened. They opened in 1903 from what I read. So it's not like they just started last week. You can sue for anything. The drivers are unsecured creditors. They get a lot of tickets. Where did I go? Oh, right there. They have to get in line and hope to collect something. I got lost there, right. Well, wages are one of the first things that are paid according to legal people, that wages get ahead of everybody else, and the WARN Act is required to be paid. The drivers are going to get something. We just don't know how much it is. Either way, they're getting hosed on it because now you're waking up Monday morning, you don't have a job. Some of these drivers have been there for years. Has anyone taken the traffic school to get a ticket removed? I don't know if you can. Most trucking companies offer a traffic lawyer for a flat fee. I do pay for that. Heard they get a lot of tickets dismissed. Fight every ticket. Get a lawyer for it. Get one of these legal services. I have a video about many of them. I did on a video a while ago. You can go check that out. Get one. I pay every month. I've never used it for tickets. I've used it for other stuff. Get it and fight every ticket. I don't know if CDLs can get the tickets or points removed through school. I'm not sure about that. Big Huge Mike worked for a place that shut down in New Jersey. Oh, people. And a few drivers were paying the fuel the truck money. Until this day, they haven't seen the money and most likely won't see it. So the drivers were paying to fuel the truck? Yikes. I would only fuel the truck to get myself home. Other than that, no. And I knew that going home, that fuel money I wouldn't see. If the company doesn't have fuel money on the road, that's it. I know they're totally broke. If I'm at a fuel and the card doesn't work and they go, oh, well, just charge it yourself. I'm like, no way. That's it. We're done right here because that is a total disaster. Intermodal is slow in Memphis. That's why you need a guaranteed wage. Roger Penske, an employee is an agent of the employer. Contracts are also agents, but not contractors are agents, but not employees. Right. You drove for Ryder PIE, whatever PIE is. Didn't I see that on trailers? Is that what I'm thinking about? In the early 80s. You got 3 weeks notice they were closing. I don't know if there was the WARN Act yet, though. That is a more recent thing. I don't think they had that act yet. would be just like the FMCSA or a lot of the states to cancel Falcon's authority for violating the WARN Act and leaving all their drivers out. Well, the WARN Act, WARN Act, only comes into effect when a company closes like this. They are required to give 60 days notice. And so then when they don't, then they have to pay you. That's what the WARN Act is for. Slow in Memphis, a major hub city. Yeah, for containers. Holy moly. What the Canadians' position on federal minimum wage for transportation? I don't know what they do in Canada. And I don't know what they think about our minimum wage. And I don't know if they have a minimum wage in Canada or not for transportation. Oh, you worked there but left before that went down. You got out just in time, right? If you're at the delivery and had plenty of fuel, you would deliver the load. That way I'm light and use less fuel. That's another thing. If you're already there at the delivery, I guess. I mean, that's taking a lot of time that I don't want to use now that I'm not being paid anything. But that's a good point. Some people said just drop the trailer and bobtail home. I'm kind of nervous about that. How do you explain that later, that you didn't at least leave the two together, right? You saw a Canadian driver's license. It was in French. Yeah, right, from Montreal or whatever. Do not take the traffic school. It would still go on your record. That's what I think. You can't get it dismissed. Pacific Intermountain Express. I think I've seen those on trailers from years ago. PIE, now that I think about it, right. The channel is based in the United States. Yeah, I'm in the Steelhorse, I should say that. This is a United States-based channel, and I'm not, other than Tim Hortons, I don't know that much about Canada, and it snows a lot. If you leave the truck in paid parking without signing up for the pay, they'll tow it. Oh, really? Oh, I guess you could just go park in the space, and then they come out there. That's one way to get rid of the truck. Say, I don't know, I parked it here. Because I think eventually somebody's going to ask you what happened to the truck. You're going to be the last one assigned to it. You're going to get a question about it. So that's why I'm suggesting a video. Better at their lot, but a video somewhere. The truck is parked. This is where I left it. This is how I left it. So they can't say, it's all damaged. I didn't have any damage when you fired me. And so we're parting ways. You know, that kind of thing, just to protect yourself later. You're going to get a call or a letter at some point, I think. If they especially can't find your truck. That's good, though. That's a good way to get it out of there. So Michael would park it, clean it out, lock it, mail the keys and fuel card back to the terminal. Oh, that's interesting. Return receipt requested. Let them know where it is. If not enough fuel, truck stop will tow it after a few days. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Get a receipt for that. If you mail anything back to them, get a receipt for what you're mailing. New Century violated the WARN Act. That's correct, but I'm not sure how it went. They probably paid only a portion of the amount that they had to pay. That trailer park, boys, you could go park it in a trailer park. I wouldn't bobtail in case bad weather. At least a trailer, you have a little something to hold you down. I'm concerned about splitting it up because then you're knowingly leaving one piece but taking the other piece. So I think that is a bigger problem than taking the whole thing with you. You're on a train to Toronto as you speak. You're from Michigan. What are you going to go do? What are you doing in Toronto? Cruising with Jay. What's happening out there today? What do you think about the Falcon problem that we're having here? Take it, don't paint it, become an owner-operator? Yeah, it'd be tough to register, right? Be a while before they come looking. I think you could probably drive it under the table somewhere for a while. I certainly don't recommend it, but I think it's certainly possible to do. It took Arrow months to get all that figured out. Some of the best professional wrestlers are from Canada. That's something? Well, that is something. Sherrod thought I was based out of France. I do like croissants, but that's about as close to that as I could get. That's why I have to say 1 p.m. Eastern. It's really 7 p.m. here. You pulled triples with PIE. Nice. What did that pay back then? That's a good question. If you remember, what did you get paid in the? That'd be before deregulation too. What did you get paid? If an insurance company calls you about the truck, offer to buy it for cents on the dollar. Yeah, I think you could offer to buy it. I think you're going to get called from whoever buys out the company, either in bankruptcy or somebody looking for the equipment, the owner, the lien holder. That's who's going to want to know where the truck is. And I think that you're going to have to explain where it is, at least. I would tell them, this is where I left it. Here's a video, that kind of thing. The video proves you left it without damage. That's all I'm saying. All this responsibility with so little pay. That's true. From the Dave Ramsey Show, Dollar Rent allows you to rent a car with a debit card. I rent cars from Enterprise on a debit card. No problem. I haven't had a credit card in, 10 or 12 years. Enterprise picks you up, debit card, rent them, no problem. That'd be funny if a repo guy tries to show up. How would they know where it is? I'd certainly, how would they know where the truck is? You're taking a couple of days off to drink copious amounts of beer. Well, at least you're got the day off, certainly. Oh, you got 52 cents in the early 80s. Nice. There are people now that pull, Rocky Mountain doubles for less than that. And triples, UPS probably does a little better. That would have been really good money then. Falcon issue, you just park the truck at the nearest truck stop, notify the company who was not answering the phone, and the DOT who probably don't care where it is, and find another job. So you're on the car rental kind of thing. Rent a car, head home, leave it somewhere, and that's it. Leave the trailer at a trailer shop and drive to Mexico. That's one way to sell it. Oh, Steel Horse, you got 54 cents too? Man. Now then, that was living large then, right? Oh, your Andrew is belly dumping in northeastern Iowa. That's good. Gustavo would keep it until they called you, so you're waiting for it. If you got room for it, I guess. I mean, Arrow paid hundreds of dollars to people to get the equipment back eventually. If you got room for it, I guess you could wait and at least get some money that way. So you rent Hertz with a debit too. So all these places are taking debits. I know Enterprise takes a debit card. Chris, never heard of Falcon. You got rid of CC 10 years ago and used cash check. Exactly, credit cards. Yeah, me too, right? After I went bankrupt many years ago, cash or debit only. That's the only way to go. And Falcon is not a small place. They have 500-600 drivers, so it's not like it's just a couple trucks. No knowledge that the truck is insured anymore, that the company went belly up. I agree. They didn't say they went belly up, though. They said we're ceasing operations and you don't work here. They didn't say, like they probably should have then, park the truck, it has no insurance. I think that leaves them open to liability because they weren't very specific about saying, oh, we don't have any more insurance, you have to park. They didn't say that, which I probably would have in their position if there was no insurance on the trucks. Park. They didn't. So I think that's the thing of it. Leave it at a scale and let the DOT deal with it. Oh, that's interesting. Park it at the back of a scale and get a ride home. Video shows condition at the time you turn off the camera. Yeah, it does, right. But that's good enough. I think that is way more than most people will have. And I'd probably go get the USA Today from inside to prove the date, kind of like a hostage, hold the thing up. And it shows at least the condition at that time, on that day when that paper came out. That's probably more than most people have. In 1979, nice, you got 55 cents loaded hauling cars at a union job. Ironically, you called Two Broke Tim because you don't get anywhere near what that would be now. 55 cents 40 years ago is what, $1.50 now probably? Wow. Wild Bill says union in 81 was $11.50. Wow. They start at the SIA plant, Subaru, which is down the street here in Lafayette, because this is where I am. They start at $14.50 an hour through CTI, which is a temp service to work inside in the plant, which is non-union. And then you move up from there. In 2 years, you're 21 or something, but that's what it is now. $11.50 in 81 would have been living large. You can just picture now rolling on down to the scrap yard with 40,000-pound aluminum coil. Ask him how much. Look, there are places in Chicago, I will tell you this. They'll buy pallets, they'll buy scrap, they'll buy aluminum, cash, no receipt. If you pulled in the right yard in Chicago with a Falcon truck and a gigantic aluminum coil, you'd walk out of there with money, and there'd be no questions asked. Believe it. You live in New Jersey. Good. Yikes, though. Most non-airport rental agencies take a debit. Oh, so it's the airport holding you up. They'll probably do a credit check, though. No, they usually hold $300. I think it's $250 or $300 they hold on your card, on your debit card. So you got to have a couple $100 on there. But if you don't have $200, what are you renting a car for anyway, I guess? But at least that's how Enterprise does it. They're like, we have to put a $250 hold or whatever. Unless you put your air cuff and kingpin lock on it. Well, I wouldn't lock it up somewhere, other than parking it on my own property, which I don't have. What is the best start company driving for? I love it. Best, that is like a Yoda sentence right there. New with no experience. I love Yoda, by the way. Look, give Maverick a call. And call Dot Foods, call, places like this. Dump the truck at a DOT scale. Let them deal with it. I think they would deal with it by towing it away, which might be the best thing that ever happened to it. I didn't even receive a decent paycheck last week and was mad about it. Full weeks of work and only got a $200 check. Where's all that going on? Where are you getting $200 for a full week? Class A CDL, have no experience. Oh, yeah, you can get, there's a lot of places that'll take you there. Plus, on the beer delivery truck, you also got commission on each case of beer. Yes, I remember when I drove for RC Cola. I think it worked the same. You got so much an hour. Wasn't much, $8 or something then. This is a long time ago. And then it was 2 cents a case of this and a half a cent for every 2 liter and 2 cents for this, which is crazy. At U.S. Express, no, we're going to pass on them. Does Falcon carry chains? Yeah, they have flatbeds with chains, you bet. Night, yeah, try night would be better than U.S. 52 cents was 25 an hour then. Right, not today. Imagine that today, though. I mean, consider if that just went up just with inflation every year, all those years. I mean, that's what a driver should be getting paid today. But back then, that was living large. Now we're scrapping by getting a $200 check. I mean, how many miles can you possibly get with $200? I would put the decals off and get started in a new owner-operator. Hey, I'm an owner-operator. I don't know how you explain to them about the title. Where's your title? Oh, don't worry about that. I bet you there's places in Chicago, same thing. Some of these 1099 logistics places that would let you put a truck on in Chicago until you got caught at least. And they'd say, we didn't know nothing about this. That's how it would work up there. It's 3:31, but I'm waiting to hear from Cruising with Jay about this $200 check. Holy mackerel, before I have to go make my company some money. As I say each week. And do that. Clicky. Don't forget to read the blog. I have a podcast. Go listen to that, of course. You can check out truckinganswersnation.com. I'm over there. I'm clicking things here where things don't happen. There we go. Okay. I don't want to drop company name. Okay, no problem. Looking at your paid trips. One day was 466. They paid you an entire 37 cents. How does that work? I mean, how do you get 37 cents for 466 miles? Are you an owner-operator somewhere? I mean, believe me, we all want to we want to know about that. On the beer truck, you got a full $11.50 plus 15 cents for the helper and 22 for the case. Yeah, that's right. Each person got a different amount. Chicago is a city full of opportunity. Yes, it's full of 1,099 opportunities. Recovery pays $2 a mile round trip. That's what we should charge them. Falcon Transport, they were. Yes, they were, Yoda. Exactly. Is Sierra England a good company? I'm going to say no to that. It's going to be a big fat no. No, that's way down at the bottom of the list. They're above Western Express. Let's give them that. The D-boy is running late on Monday. Oh, that doesn't sound great. I hope your employer pays you extra for that. I appreciate that, Wild Bill. I'm even though it's past 3:30, I'm just fascinated by Cruising with Jay here. That you can get 466 miles and get 37 cents. I just don't understand it. Why is Sierra England so attractive? He is the red trucks. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's the red draws you in. He must have done some kind of study and said, you know what? If I put 3 men together in a 40 square foot space, I think I can get people to work here as long as I have the trucks that are red. Right. James, thank you for being here. I appreciate it today. Cruising with Jay, you're an employed driver and want to assume it's an extreme screw up, but not getting answers. Oh, well, they need to get some answers immediately. If it's a mess up from their end, right, you need to pound the desk over there or the phone and say, look, I need to know why this is happening because I can go work anywhere for 37 cents a day. I mean, really, seriously. I mean, that's crazy money. Anyhow, that's really something. You don't have to see where it is, but look, get it fixed because nobody should get paid that kind of money. Western Express would be the worst than CR England would be bad. Swift would be better than that, certainly. Western Express, if you have a bunch of felonies, like you just killed somebody, like you're still covered with blood, that kind of felony, then you can go over to Western Express, and they have showers there too that you can use to clean up. They'll let you clean up, And but otherwise, no. That's what that place would be for. Throw a female into the 3-driver truck and it's more appealing. Look, I will tell you, a lady wrote to me that said that they have 2 women go out with a man and the man is the trainer, that the trainer gets a motel every night at England and the 2 ladies have to stay in the truck and sleep in the hotel parking lot, and that the trainer gets a motel. Is that crazy? She's like, forget that. I mean, I just don't understand where these companies get off with some of these rules and then wonder, oh, we just can't get any drivers to come here. We're putting the ladies in a motel parking lot. They're almost at the Best Western. That kind of stuff is just mind-blowing and maddening to me. Al, thank you. I appreciate that. How long is Highway 2 Nebraska? Highway being closed? I don't know. It's been closed for weeks. Yeah, the Sap Brothers, right? And Flying J. I saw Love's was filled up to like the top of the fuel pumps with water. It was ridiculous. It's called the insurance company. You could call the insurance company at Falcon and see if they have insurance. 37 cents for an entire day's work really jacked up your budget. I bet. It's never happened before, so it has to be a mess up. Okay, then let's hope that if it's a decent place, that they'll correct it immediately or at least by the next payday. If we don't, then you've been falconed. That's what we're gonna say right now. Yeah, I don't have a credit card, so you have to use a debit card. So use Penske, U-Haul. Yeah, a lot of these places take that. We moved years ago, though, and U-Haul took my debit card, no problem. Rented a truck and a 2-wheel cart. No, they're like, oh, yeah, we'll take it. No big deal. Why wouldn't they? The truck was like $20. It's not like it's like a huge amount of money. Huh. Where's the hammock? You almost need one for that. So they have trainers at England training 2 at a time. Yes, the England has a 3-bunk truck. They have a truck with 3 bunks in it. And they have 1 trainer and 2 students go out at the same time. Yes, they have done that for some time. Can you go solo after a month? It depends on the company. Each company is different. Women shouldn't drive anyway. I don't know about that. I don't know where that came out of. That came out of the 50s. Women make good drivers as anybody. I'm all for everybody driving that can do the job. No problem. Hey, people have dogs that drive trucks better than drivers. That's the truth. Andre the Giant was French. Was he really? I saw him in person in Hammond, Indiana, which I'm sure nobody cares about, but I did. They came to Hammond, and I saw him live many years ago, right? And he is as big as he seems. What kind of man would leave a couple women in the truck? I don't understand it, but trainers don't care. They're getting the hotel, and the ladies have to stay in the truck in the motel parking lot. I mean, what is worse than that? So you park the truck. He's like, I'll see y'all tomorrow. He comes out in the morning with the hot bagel or whatever they got in an orange from the buffet, the breakfast buffet. He's all showered up and they're just waking up in the truck. I mean, come on. And they're like, oh, we have to go in. He goes, oh, no, you didn't stay at the motel. You can't go in and use the bathroom. We'll drive over to the Petro and you can use the bathroom over there. I mean, come on. Come on, England. I mean, really? You need a job recovering Falcon trucks? They're going to need some people to do that. You've been falconed. Should coin that for when other drivers get screwed. That's what we're going to start using now. You've been falconed. I mean, just fire people. 1,000 people. It was over 1,000, they said, with all the people in the office and everything. Because don't forget, it isn't just drivers. We're talking about that here. It's fleet managers. It's dispatch, load planners, customer service, the secretaries, mechanics. Everybody that works at the place got fired at the same time. It's everybody needs a job. So, it's all those people. We got to be thinking about all those people, and keep all them in our thoughts, everybody. Right. Oh, Steel Horse has a way to get around that Route 2 closure, which who knows how long that is going to take. All the truck stops on Highway 2 went underwater. They're going to have to build one. Yeah, I know. That was a brand new Lowe's. They just built it. And looking at pictures, which you can see online of them, they're going to have to rebuild them all. How much should you charge recovering Falcon trucks? Well, I would say whatever you charge, you should get it up front. Tucker Hershey, am I working today? Yes, I do work a regular 5-day week, but I was fascinated by trucking with Jay here at 37 cents a day is horrible. But we're going to hope that his company is going to correct it. What's worse, buying a used U-Haul or buying a used rental car? I don't know. I'm not a fan of either one, really. Because on the rental cars I do so many burnouts in them and stuff. It's just neutral. I neutral dropped a Sonata I had over 2 weeks, probably 100 times. Incredible. That car really will do a great burnout. And then you just give it back. I'm like, hey, I bought the insurance, whatever. Right, so if you park in the paid parking, take a video of park it and all that, and you just leave it in that spot, it gets towed, and then the company's on the hook for the storage fees. Yeah, I think, look, if you park it at the truck stop or whatever, that's the company's problem, because I agree with you all that said once you're fired, you're not responsible. So if you want to leave it, that's their problem. They're the one firing you on the road, not you. You're not walking away from it. They're like, stop operations. So then they have to go get the trucks. They've got to go get them. Oh, we got a hashtag going now. You've been Falcon. Do I know anything about the new trucker pay? Yeah, I've seen some videos about it, which are false, not true. There's no federal law about truck driving pay. Truck drivers are exempt from federal minimum wage. It just aggravates me when I see these videos. They get a lot of views, and they're just not true. It's all clickbait to get you to watch the videos. It's very aggravating to me, really, believe me, because I try to put information out there, and that's not my video, by the way. But there's no law. There's a proposal. Some senator has a proposal that drivers get minimum wage. They do that proposal every year. It's not going to go anywhere. It never does. It dies in some committee. And the other thing about it, here's the thing about it. Don't try to fight for minimum wage, okay? Don't try to fight to get $7.25 an hour. You don't want the government to direct your wage. You want the government to stay out of it and you to go get the highest wage possible. No driver now is making $7.25 an hour other than Cruising with Jay, who hopefully is going to get his pay coming up, right? But don't try to fight to get $290 for 40 hours of work. That's not a kind of great plan. Poor people. What was there any info as to what caused Falcon to lock up? No, they didn't. They haven't said anything. I can only assume it's the closing of the Lordstown General Motors plant, because that was a huge part of their business. When that closed, they just had way less business, and they just ran out of money. Are these truck stop fuel tanks isolated from floodwater? Yes, they're supposed to be. And at least the Loves, they were brand new, so hopefully they are not leaking. I agree with that. I'm speaking like an old timer. Yeah, I don't even. What's a hashtag? Fly like a falcon. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not anymore. If it was the Motel 6, you'd rather stay in the truck. Yeah, the thing is, England is probably treating the trainers well there to stay in a motel so that you'll become a trainer later, and then you can stay in the motel. The 36 and 72 detour is a pain. Yeah, you don't have any. There's no other way to get around it. You wouldn't leave the truck until you're paid in full. You'll have to take it to your house because it's going to take some time for you to get your money. Take pictures of the truck, phone puts date and time stamp. Always time, date, stamp, everything. I totally agree with you. But we don't want them to accuse you of, you manipulated the time. That's why I'm saying a front page of the newspaper, kind of like a hostage, does help. You can't manipulate the USA Today, right? Guy's a silly hillbilly. Park it on your property and charge $100. You can't do that. You can park it on your property, but you can't charge $100 a day because you don't have a deal with them to charge them $100 a day storage. A contract has to have both sides agree to it. There's no agreement on their side. You can't just make a price up. Like, anywhere you park. You can't just say, it's $15,000. You don't have a deal for that. Wouldn't work. They could come and get their truck. No minimum wage for truckers. Correct. There isn't one. These other videos it's just clickbait. I just hate to, I can't say who it is because I don't call out other people like that online, but I have seen that type of video out there. It's just to get you to click, which it did get a lot of views for the person that did the video, but that's not accurate information. Even if it was accurate, I don't want minimum wage anyway. Who wants to work for $7 an hour? But there's a proposal that you get it. It's not going to go anywhere. It's proposed every year, year after year. It dies in some committee, and they try to attach it. It just disappears. Don't fight for $7.25 an hour, though, please. We need to make way more than that. It's for time not driving. Yeah, it's not. $7.25 is nothing. It's nothing. You don't want to sit there for $7.25 an hour. Go get $25 an hour for sitting somewhere. Go get a minimum pay. Like Newsbound pays $250 a day as a minimum pay. That's always a good example that I use. Get that. That's way more than minimum wage. Is Walmart the dream trucking job since it pays well? Not for me, it isn't. There's too many regulations. Too many regulations there. Wish there was some kind of hourly pay alongside the mileage pay. Once you log into the Qualcomm, you're getting hourly. Drivers should get paid hourly. I've always said that. Plus overtime. That's the way drivers should get paid. Your company, every company should at least be paying detention, layover, breakdown, all that as an hourly rate. all that extra time. There shouldn't be all this sitting time. If you're sitting for hours not being paid, you need to quit and tell them, I'm quitting because you're not paying me. I don't work for nothing. It's not a volunteer operation. I'm not a registered 501c3 charity, so I need to get paid. That's what companies need to hear from people. That's why, like Maverick, right, that has a minimum daily pay. So a driver that sits there is going to get paid. At Newsbomb, they sit in a dock, they're going to get $250. Not bad for sitting all day. You just bought 10 shares in that Falcon a week ago? Well, like Handel says, from Handel on the Law, if you listen to that, which you should, it's a great podcast. I've listened to it for years. Cut it into 4-inch squares and sit it by your toilet so you can use it there. Is there any DOT inspection going on? That's in June. There's a nationwide inspection coming up, which we'll talk about as we get closer to it. Another nationwide thing, right? You don't want to work for $7 an hour? Exactly. Fighting for minimum wage is a lost cause already. Who wants to get minimum wage? Because eventually the company's like, all right, we'll give you $7.25. Big deal. I mean, that's nothing. There'll be a lot of stripped down trucks. Do not do that. Missing parts. The boss parked it like you said. Not my fault. Think 3 months. Look, don't steal stuff off the truck. It's theft. And that's really makes us no better than them. We can't steal the truck. I understand leaving it. You're not an employee. That's one thing. But stealing stuff, you're just a thief then, right? That is not a way to operate. You always need to operate your own, yourself, certainly, in a manner that is not like a thief or whatever. Don't steal stuff off the truck. I get a delivery paying $30 an hour after 2 hours. That's right, because you get the delivery and the detention. Exactly. So you actually get paid. That's way more than minimum wage. So you would not be a fan of having a company pay you minimum wage. Exactly. I thought the minimum wage proposals start giving drivers pay on their time on the road that they're not going driving and time for the road en route to work. No, you're not going to get paid to go to work. Certainly, you're not going to get paid to commute to your job. Nobody pays you commute time, okay? So that's not going to happen. And your on-duty time should already be paid, like Steelhorse said, where you get a delivery pay and detention pay. That should already be paid. Any decent company already pays you that. And if you're not getting it, which I get letters all the time, go get it. Okay, go find a company that pays it. I mean, seriously, don't sit around. You're not a charity, right? We're here to work. We're employees. Expect to get paid. Your company gets paid for hauling its freight. You need to get paid too, really. The scariest word you hear in life is we're your government. We're here to help. Yeah, they're going to help you with minimum wage. You want the government to protect and enforce your right to get a fair wage, not dictate your wage. Exactly, which you already have a right to get a fair wage. I have people right in here getting $30 an hour, and then I have people that sit 6 hours and don't get anything. So you have the right to get however much, you'll accept. You get what you will accept, really. You can't stick it to the man. You got to have a plan. Yeah, you stealing from the truck. There are drivers that are going to do it. You can't do that. Please don't do that. Good time to buy a truck. It's never a good time to buy a truck, I don't think, because this is a company driver. I'm a company driver channel here, so I'm not a huge fan of buying a truck. I will say Cash is King Trucking is not on here today. I'd like you to go watch his latest video, which just came out, and then come and talk to me about that. Holy moly. The courier company you were looking at learned a little about it as hourly plus mileage over a specified distance. Pay periods are 1st and 15th, right? Twice a month. $15 an hour plus 46 cents a mile. Let's see. Now that's better, right? It's probably better than what you got this week, which is only 37 cents. But yeah, so you're getting hourly plus mileage. Bingo. Park it somewhere and put the sleeper on Airbnb and rent it out by the night. Oh, that's not bad. In a place that people can crash, I bet you could rent that out. No, it's what is that sofa? It's Lona Sofa or a sofa. There's a sofa one where people come and sleep on your couch. Yeah, there's a website for that. There are people that would do that. You better get to work before I get Falcon. Exactly. Walmart Trans is not a dream job. And there are some of those in a Walmart. But yeah, look, Walmart puts themselves out there as a great job. If it was such a great job, they wouldn't have to run ads all over the place. Think about that. They're running constant ads for $90,000 jobs and they can't get drivers. Oh, why is that? You made a $31.20 an hour when driving. Yikes. But thought the minimum wage for sleeper berth and 30-minute break. That still wouldn't be any good. And no, they were saying that what they were suggesting, right, this commute and all this, that isn't going to go anywhere. And the 30-minute break, as far as I know, should be disappearing soon. Much better, and they will help with fuel if you need it. Exactly. Couchsurf, that's what it is, .com, I think. And I think you could rent that out, although you probably shouldn't do it. Does R&L Cares teach you how to pull doubles? I think so. I think they will train you. If you already have your license and experience, they'll train you in doubles. And believe me, it isn't hard. Just tell them, oh, I haven't done it for a while, and so could you just show me again? And it really is that easy. It's not super complicated to hook them up or anything. 5 minutes, 6 minutes, they're hooked up once you know how to do it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. While Bill is right, at 3:50, I'm headed out of here. I do have to go make the company some money. Cruising with Jay, I do hope you get your money. Believe me. Be on them about that and get your money. And we're going to hope that you work at a good place and you're going to get your money paid. They just made a mistake this week because I want you to get paid. There are companies that pay for everything you do. Stop working for useless driving. Yeah, look, if there's hours and hours you're not being paid, it's not working. It's a charity. Forget all that. Volunteer on your free time, all right? Does R&L pay good? Yeah, they're a recommended place, absolutely. And a lot of their drivers are home every day. I absolutely would call them about it, certainly. I'm headed out of here. I want to thank everybody for being here today. We ran a little late. I'm sorry for holding everybody, but I appreciate everybody coming to the show. And I'm live every Monday at 1. We'll talk more about Falcon, anything else you want to talk about here. And there'll be more videos this week, of course, as usual. It really, really makes me feel good that everybody's here. So thank you for coming in every Monday and letting me know. And please, Cruising with Jay, please let me know what happens with there, please. And otherwise, Mark at truckinganswersnation.com. You can always write to me. I answer all my emails within a couple of days. Don't work for it. Now that it's late, don't work for free. Exactly. Never work for free. Don't work at your company for nothing. It just doesn't make any sense. And Falcon drivers, hope you get home and don't get falconed. That's what we'll leave it on. Exactly. Thanks for being here. We'll see you on the next one. I appreciate it.